Muy buenas tardes y bienvenidos ya aquí de Vallecas. Son los cuartos de final de la Copa del Rey. Estamos a un pasito de las semifinales y el Mallorca, que ya ha llegado a Madrid, ya ha llegado precisamente ahí, al estadio de Vallecas. Vemos ya cómo bajan los jugadores. Takefusa Kubo, que finalmente ha llegado después de esos partidos con su selección. Ha llegado prácticamente hoy y está aquí ya para vestir la camiseta del Mallorca e intentar buscar un pase a las semifinales de la Copa. Vemos a Jaume Costa, Russo, al míster, a Luis García Plaza, entrando al estadio de Vallecas, a Sergio Rico, una de las nuevas incorporaciones, Antonio Rayo, el Kaiser, que vuelve a una convocatoria después de casi 6 meses de lesión. Mucho tiempo, mucho trabajo para volver a estar aquí. A Tom Prats, Manolo Reina, Leo Román. Vemos al jovencísimo Javi Llabrés, que en esta Copa del Rey ya ha marcado. Qué ganas teníamos después de tantos días sin fútbol, después de tantos días sin Mallorca. Hoy el conjunto bermellón que volverá a jugar. Vemos a Martín Vallent, uno de los fijos en la defensa. Seguía llegando ahí la expedición, ahí el director de comunicación, Albert Salas. Idriss Ubaba, lesionado, pero llegando siempre para animar, para hacer piña, porque el equipo quiere estar en semis. A Maten Dialle. Vemos ahí a Brian Oliván, a Salva Sevilla. Todos con muchísimas ganas y concentrados, concienciados, porque esta es una semana importantísima para el Mallorca. Fer Niño, el joven delantero del Mallorca, Rodrigo Batalla también por aquí, llegando Alexander Sellar. Todos y cada uno de los jugadores disponibles y algunos lesionados, algunos recién recuperados por qué vemos aquí a Muriqui. La verdad es que impresiona, el delantero de Kosovo, el gran jugador que acaba de llegar también al Real Club Deportivo Mallorca en este mercado de invierno. Entre gorro también diferenciamos aquí al coreano, a Kang In Lee, también entrando al estadio de Vallecas. La llegada de todos los jugadores para lo que decíamos va a ser una tarde-noche de fútbol. También otro de los nuevos fichajes, a Gio, que lo tenemos ya aquí también para sumar al equipo. También vemos a Matthew Hoppe. La verdad es que todos, creo que no nos hemos dejado ninguno. Vemos a Ángel Rodríguez también, creo que no nos hemos dejado a ninguno. Ahora mismo si nos pidiesen, mira, justamente tenemos aquí la camiseta de Gio González, ya el vestuario preparadísimo, la de Franco Russo, la de Bataglia, argentinos cerquita, siempre. Nos falta el mate ahí, a mí en medio, pero seguro que lo traen del hotel. Sergio Rico también, que podría debutar hoy con la camiseta del Mallorca. Ángel Rodríguez, Pablo Maffeo, Jaume Costa, los laterales, Dani Rodríguez, que ha vuelto. Se ha recuperado finalmente del COVID, ha conseguido llegar, ha viajado esta misma tarde a Mallorca, a Maten Dialle, Antonio Sánchez, Alexander Sellar, Muriqui, el 7, que después de la marcha de Jordi Mboula lo coge el delantero, el nuevo delantero del Mallorca, que esperemos consiga marcar muchísimos goles con esta camiseta. Brian Oliván, vemos la camiseta de Rayo al lado de uno de sus mejores amigos, Manolo Reina. Muchos son los partidos desde Segunda B que han llegado luchando hasta aquí, hasta este momento, para intentar clasificarse a unas semifinales de Copa. No se clasifican, no juega unas semifinales el Mallorca desde la temporada 2008-2009. Son muchas temporadas y hoy tienen esa oportunidad para conseguir esa clasificación. Será ante un rival también recién ascendido, ante un rival que en Liga está haciendo las cosas muy bien, que nos puso las cosas muy complicadas. Nos ganó 3-1 en el partido de ida, pero bueno, no pasa nada. Hoy el Mallorca seguro que en Copa con esta inercia conseguirá hoy la clasificación. Esperemos que sea así. Y qué mejor ya, tenemos imágenes aquí del estadio de Vallecas, los jugadores ya sobre el césped. No sé si, compañeros, podemos hacer ya la primera conexión con Dani Barjacoba, que ya lo tenemos por ahí. Dani, imagino que el equipo ya pensando en olvidarse de esa derrota en Liga y sobre todo pues con en juego esa pase para las semifinales de Copa.
¿Qué tal, Esteban? Buenas tardes. Bueno, pues saludos, efectivamente, desde la cabina de comentaristas aquí del estadio de Vallecas, en donde volvemos hoy en partido de Liga. Recordabas tú, evidentemente, ese precedente de partido de Copa, recordabas ese precedente de Liga, evidentemente que nos trae malos recuerdos, pero esto es otra cosa, esto es la Copa Mola, ya lo sabéis, es otra competición que se le está dando muy bien al Mallorca esta temporada, también evidentemente al Rayo Vallecano. Nos encontramos en esta ronda de cuartos de final, esto ya se pone muy serio porque, como dices, el que gane esta eliminatoria se va a plantar en las semifinales, va a estar en el bombo con otros 3 equipos este viernes en el sorteo de la Real Federación Española de Fútbol. Efectivamente, 2008-2009, última vez que el Mallorca disputó unas semifinales, perdimos aquella semifinal ante el Barça, porque las 3 otras semifinales que ha jugado el Mallorca en su historia han terminado en final. Es decir que de 4 eliminatorias de semifinal que ha jugado el Mallorca, en 3 de ellas ha accedido a la final. Pero bueno, ya me estoy poniendo un poquito emocionado, porque quedan todavía 90 minutos como mínimo aquí en Vallecas, si no hay prórroga y penaltis. Así que vamos a ver el equipo que ha llegado, como dices, pues hace unos minutitos. Lo hemos visto también en esas imágenes en directo en nuestro canal de YouTube, y pues con mucha ilusión, con muchas ganas, con Kubo, que como decías ha llegado desde Japón, ha llegado esta misma mañana, con Dani Rodríguez también recuperado y dispuesto para poder ayudar al equipo. Ya veremos, ¿no?, si puede jugar o no, pero en cualquier caso está en la expedición del Mallorca. Ahí veíamos, ¿no?, a Kubo como esta mañana pues aparecía, ¿no?, con muchas horas de vuelo, pero bueno, no jugó ningún minuto en el segundo partido con su selección, así que viene cansado el viaje, pero no ha sufrido demasiado desgaste, así que pues va a estar a disposición de Luis García por si lo considera oportuno. Hablabas también, ¿no?, por ahí tenemos al Tigre Betanzos también, que ha podido viajar en el día de hoy. Lo ha hecho pues precisamente conmigo, le he tenido ahí al Tigre al lado mío en el avión, así que ha sido un viaje de lo más placentero para mí. Y con los fichajes, ¿no?, que ya pueden jugar, con la documentación completada, así que si el míster lo considera oportuno, bueno, ya veis que mi conexión a internet tampoco es la mejor aquí en este búnker de Vallecas, pero bueno, mientras me escuchéis bien, pues es lo importante. Decía, tanto... Bueno, vaya temazo que están poniendo aquí. Por megafonía me han escuchado y me han querido silenciar, pero ahora han bajado un poquito el volumen. Como decíamos, con Murishi, con Muri, ese fichaje ya en el equipo, con Gio también preparado para sumar en esta primera aventura del fútbol europeo. Así que Esteban, a las 8 de la tarde va a rodar el balón. He hablado un ratito con Mario Suárez, jugador del Rayo Vallecano, es jugador del Mallorca aquí en la entrada al estadio. Nada, ya me ha dicho que nos van a volver a ganar. Le he dicho que no, que esta vez nos toca a nosotros. Así que bueno, pues ya veremos. Hemos quedado que al final del partido nos veremos y a ver quién tiene razón. Esteban.
Bueno, la verdad es que apetece mucho esta eliminatoria. No sé, Dani, espero un segundo. ¿Qué has dicho? ¿Murishi? ¿Cómo se dice? Tú que lo tienes ahí de cerquita, lo has palpado bien. ¿Cómo tenemos que llamarlo? ¿Cómo tenemos que llamarlo?
A ver, yo creo que es Murishi. Yo no se lo he podido preguntar porque estos días no he estado en contacto con él, digamos. Me da un poco de miedo preguntarle porque es que es tan grandote y con unas manos y unos gemelos que yo que sé, a ver si lo voy a decir mal. Lo voy a decir mal pero bueno, si decimos Muri, que es como le llaman aquí los compañeros ya, ¿sí?, del cuerpo técnico, no nos vamos a equivocar, ¿eh? Bueno. Así que bueno, de momento apostaremos por Muri, y luego le preguntamos en el avión, el regreso a casa, exactamente que nos pronuncie, le grabaremos la locución y a partir de ahí lo locutaremos todo perfecto.
Espero que tengas que decir mucho su nombre, al final eso sería buena noticia.
Que sí. Sí, esperemos que sí. Él viene con ganas, la veo que es un delantero de muchísima envergadura, de talento y bueno, pues oportunidad también aquí en la Liga Española y primera oportunidad en la Copa del Rey. Vamos a ver si juega o no juega, en un ratito también sabremos el 11.
Han llegado los papeles, que es lo importante. Han llegado los papeles de los 3, tanto de Sergio Rico, que ya está, también la de Muri. No sé, compañeros, ya si tenemos ahí nuestra primera entrevista, que es precisamente el padre de otro de los fichajes, es jugador aquí también no del Mallorca, pero sí en España. Estamos ya con Juan Antonio González Crespo. Juanchi González, muy buenos días, muy buenas tardes. ¿Cómo está por ahí todo?
Hola, buenas tardes. Un gusto para hablar de fútbol y obviamente todo bien, todo tranquilo y preparado y muy nervioso por el hecho del debut de Gio y obviamente del equipo.
Bueno, un debut que a lo mejor llega hoy, a lo mejor no. ¿Qué sensaciones tienes? Me han dicho que ha llegado con muchísimas ganas, que está entrenando muy bien y que tiene muchas ganas de triunfar aquí en España como hizo su padre.
Sí, totalmente. Me imagino que sí, que va a debutar hoy, lo que siento y lo que espero. Obviamente cuando uno jugó al fútbol y logró las cosas que logró, obviamente cuando su hijo hace la misma carrera y tiene el placer, el padre de verlo jugar y todo eso, obviamente me olvido ya de mi carrera y me pongo fijo en la carrera de él, obviamente, porque es mucho más más importante, al menos en lo personal, y obviamente él tiene muchos sueños y el sueño de él era irse para España, irse para Mallorca. Las propuestas eran unas cuantas, gracias a Dios, pero él eligió ese sueño tan helado que es estar hoy en Palma y obviamente en jugar, en tener continuidad y obviamente, como él dijo en la nota, lograr los objetivos del club y lo de él en lo personal también.
Lograr los objetivos, imagino que tiene muchas ganas, lo has dicho ya, de debutar con la camiseta del Mallorca, esa experiencia en España. Imagino que fuiste los primeros en enterarte, imagino que ya te ha pedido muchísimos consejos, ¿no? Un poco del fútbol español, 8 años, ¿no? Viviendo aquí en España, en equipos como el Oviedo, como el Granada, como el Atlético de Madrid. Imagino que te ha dicho, papá, oye, dame consejitos, ¿no? Para aquí en España.
Sí, sí, le he dado muchos. Desde que empezó esta carrera, no es una carrera fácil, obviamente es importante porque uno trabaja de lo que le gusta y es, la verdad, él ama el fútbol. Y bueno, le he dado mucho consejo, le doy hasta el día de hoy de mañana le he dado, o sea, todos los días le doy mucho consejo, pero obviamente él es muy maduro y le gusta aprender mucho y obviamente el fútbol español es te da muchos pasos y eso es lo que necesita él, ya le he dicho eso, no es tanto fútbol físico, pero sí que te dejan jugar, que es libre con la pelota y esas cosas, y bueno, esos son los
However, it is one of
consejos
those
que le doy,
footballing
obviamente.
situations
Fútbol
where you
es
have a
lo
lot of
mismo,
freedom
pero
as
estamos
well.
hablando 20 y pico de años atrás, yo era otra posición de
Obviously, in
delantero,
my case, in my
y
career,
lateral
it was
volante,
a
o sea,
20 years back in the
bueno, la
past,
verdad que tiene el fútbol
and it
en
was
la
a whole other
en la sangre,
kind of
sí,
sport.
desde
But
chiquitito
football runs in our
sabía
blood;
que
it
iba a
runs
hacer
in our
esta
family.
carrera y obviamente está logrando
He knew that that was the
muchos
career
sueños
path he was
y
going to follow, and
afortunadamente
there are so
llegó
many
uno que
dreams he wants
es
to achieve.
importante, irse para ahí, para Palma, para Mallorca, para vestir
And for him, it was
camiseta
really,
y
really
obviamente
important to take
no
that
me
step
comprometo a
towards
hacerle
Palma and towards
tanto en la
Mallorca.
cancha desde el primer minuto cuando debute.
And I'm just going to be there
Eso
supporting him
te digo,
from
lo
right
que me
from
ha
the off.
llegado es que tiene muchísimas ganas, que está motivadísimo y la verdad es que tenemos todo, yo creo que todo el mallorquinismo muchísimas ganas de verle jugar. Y
I
Juanjo,
think the
para quien
whole
no lo sepa, para
Mallorca
quien no te
fans
conozca tan
are
poquito,
extremely excited to see what he's got to offer.
explícanos un poquito brevemente, así, es verdad que eres su padre y siempre le verás con buenos ojos, pero explícanos un poquito
Of
cómo es él en el
course,
campo.
you've seen him in the best sense because you're
No
his father. But what is he like as a
él
player and
entra
on the
siempre
pitch?
con el objetivo para ganar, él no quiere saber
Well,
nada,
he always
nada
comes
con
out with the
perder,
aim of winning.
ni con el empate, o sea, él
He
en la
never
cancha
comes out
es
thinking that
demostrativo.
he's going to be
A
satisfied with a
medida que van
draw.
pasando los años, él ha aprendido mucho. Él era
He's learnt a
volante,
lot over
siempre
the
fue
years.
volante, pero en River, cuando debutó, lo pusieron de lateral y ahí quedó de lateral.
When he debuted in
Obviamente
River, he
después,
was on the wing, and that's where he
como es
stayed while he was there.
polifuncional, lo usaron también en Peñarol de volante y buscaba
However,
defender
he's
lateral
very
izquierdo,
versatile in
lateral
Peñarol. He was
izquierdo.
also
Por suerte le pega
used
con
further at the
las dos
top in the
piernas,
centre, not only on the
más
wings.
derecha que zurda, pero es un jugador
Of course, he's
que no da nada
left-footed,
por perdida, o sea,
but
lucha,
he
llega a
never
marcar.
gives up. He
Por
fights
suerte,
right until the
lo
end.
físico es de rescatar porque de
And on a
Peñarol
physical level,
era
he's all about
el jugador
rescuing those
que
balls.
corría más, que hacía más kilómetros.
In Peñascal, he was the
Así que el
second
estado físico
player that
tiene
was
para
doing the most
se
kilometers and
recuida,
running the most in each match.
se cuida el cuerpo mucho más que cuando lo hacía yo
He
en
really
mis
looks
años.
after himself too on a physical
Obviamente
level, much more than I did when I was his age.
él
Of course,
invierte
that depends
mucho
on
en
the
el
times
tema
as
de
well.
físico, por eso mismo yo creo que en los partidos que van a ser todo importante va a dar todo, así que
So I think he's
físicamente
going
va
to
a
give
estar
it his all
muy
in the
bien,
match.
técnicamente también, y lo bueno
I
que
think
llega al
he's
área,
excellent as a player and excellent on a technique level
y
too.
también si la pelota vuelve para atrás tiene físico para volver para encontrarse
And also, if the ball is
más
going up
rápido
and down the
que le
pitch, he's
pido
also
que
got that
cuando juega de lateral
physicality to be
importa
able
de
to
defender,
chase and follow
después
the ball for during the whole
secundario el
match.
hecho de atacar, el tema es que tiene que cubrir el puesto de él donde va a jugar, bueno, después si se da la oportunidad
His job is just going to be to cover whatever position he's put in as best as possible, and I'm sure that he's going to do that, and he's lucky to have a great physique to go with it.
Te lo digo un poquito así en exclusiva. Yo creo que tú ya lo debes saber, pero yo te lo confirmo ahora mismo que Gio hoy
Bit of an exclusive information for you there.
va a ser titular.
But I think you probably know anyway. But yes, I can confirm that he will debut today with Mallorca. It's going to be his first day in a Mallorca shirt, number 7. But yes, as you can see, you already knew that.
Siempre fuimos, por suerte, gracias a Dios, de perfil tranquilo, bajo, y obviamente tenemos que demostrar.
Yes, he had already told me that. Of course, luckily, him and I are both quite discreet, quite low-profile people, and I was obviously kept it to myself. But it's going to be great for him to show what he's going to bring to the team, and he just needs to give it his all today. And if anything goes wrong today as well, he needs to pick himself back up and know that it was just the first of many opportunities. And he needs to go out and try and find every chance that he can get to score.
De un jugador individual, sino en tema de grupal, pero sí obviamente él tiene que aportar lo de él para que el equipo se sienta bien. Obviamente hay que
Of course, he needs to bring something interesting to the team for the team to want for him to be there with them as well.
Yo creo que se va a acomodar bastante rápido.
Bueno, y encima pues debutar en unos cuartos de final de Copa del Rey, y encima en un campo.
Yes, and what a day to debut as well. King's Cup quarter-final up against Rayo Vallecano, a really tough rival who came up from second division, but they've been great at the moment this season.
De la Copa del Rey ya un partido, va a ser un partido de lo que, como tú bien has dicho, físico, y hoy Gio pues tiene una buena.
It's going to be an extremely physical match as well.
Imagino que tú has estado muchos años en España, has jugado partidos de Copa del Rey.
Of course, you have been in Spain for several years. You've played King's Cup matches, so what an honor for him, right? Yes, I remember that with Atletico we actually lost in the final against Valencia. Of course, with Oviedo we didn't reach very far in those tournaments. But it's a very important cup in the country. And it's really good, a really good opportunity for middle of the table clubs or even lower clubs to shine. It's a big objective for the team right now, like every objective, like every dream. However, we've got to think that Mallorca has got that far in the tournament for a reason. However, I was going to say, you definitely look ready to get back on the pitch and play. I can see you've got a really fit-looking arm there. Well, I'm looking after myself and I'm maintaining myself, even though I'm out of practice now. I'm around 50 and I'm just coming up to 50 now. But yeah, obviously, keep working out. No, I don't think they'll be signing many 49-year-old players.
Estar quieto y eso, y obviamente toda mi vida haciendo deporte, mantengo de.
Of course, also I've been doing sport, doing exercise my whole life. I love it as well. I've got a gym at home, and I just try and look after myself as much as I can. But I'm really excited, and I'm just really happy to see him play today and to perform. I'm so proud of him for following in my footsteps as well. I do have a bad memory of that stadium. Oh, actually, about Mallorca. When we played against them when I was with Oviedo and we lost. Yes, in football there's always opportunities. However, I can forget about that now. So have you got some flights ready to come and see him? yeah, hopefully around middle of the year, I'll be able to come and see him. Obviously, that depends on COVID restrictions as well, but once he's settled in and hopefully once COVID is back, calmed down slightly again, I'll be able to come over. I didn't come with him now because everything with the signing was extremely fast. So his mother has gone with him and I decided to stay behind. So when we decided, he had to book his flight from one day to the next. So for him, that's great, but it was a bit too fast for me to go with him. Well, he was definitely looking forward to it, wasn't he? He was, and I hope that today is a very complete match for him. Obviously, hopefully they can take away the victory, but hopefully it's thanks to, at least in some part, to his performance. But the main thing is for the team to work very well together. Well, of course, I mean, all of Gio's moments of happiness for the rest of the season will be Mallorca's moments of happiness. So obviously we wish him the best of luck in his debut and we hope that he can help us to bring home a victory. So when next time you come over, we will definitely have to give you a bit of an interview quickly. Yes, and it is an amazing thing to get to know the people behind the cameras and all the support systems for the players, thanks to all these amazing platforms such as, you know, the YouTube and with the video links and everything. So I am Spanish as well, though. I have dual nationality. So that's great for everybody to be able to keep in the loop. But yes, he's definitely settled in really well, and he doesn't seem to be worried about everything. Yeah, well, it's us young people. We're definitely made. We're made of other substance. But no, Juanchi, you look great, and you're still very young anyway. So we wish Gio all the luck in the world, and his luck is going to be the team's luck, and that's what we're all aiming for. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you for the opportunity to be here talking today. And I hope all the best for Mallorca's near future. So yes, we've heard from Juanchi González, Gio's father, who is debuting with Mallorca today. I don't know the full lineup yet, but we're going to our colleague Danny, who I think does know the full lineup. Yes, what a great guy, Gio's father, Juanchi. I really enjoyed listening to him there. And it's interesting that he referenced that Oviedo-Mallorca match from his day. I remember that match well. The coach was Luis Aragonés at the time. In that match, Oviedo was relegated, and Mallorca went through to the Champions League. And of course, Oviedo was gutted about that relegation. So yes, Juanchi was an extremely well-liked player when he was there in Oviedo for several seasons. But yes, he's a lovely guy. And I think people recognize him, especially now with his relationship with his son. And yeah, as soon as you asked him about whether he thought he was going to come on the pitch, I thought, yes, that face means, that expression means that he already knows. But we do also know that those final lineups shouldn't be revealed until the correct moment. So I can tell you now.
Yo lo voy a colocar de una determinada manera, espero que mis compañeros también lo hayan colocado así, porque la verdad es que pues ya vamos a ver, ¿no?, las alternativas que va a tener el míster con este 11, que va a formar con Sergio Rico,
lineup is
por tanto,
Sergio Rico today starting in goal. So debut for him.
Hoy el portero de la Mallorca aquí en Vallecas. Línea de 4 atrás con Jaume Costa.
So line of 4 at the back with Jaume Costa on the left wing, Pablo Maffeo on the right wing, Franco Russo and Martin Valgent, central defense. Rayo is on the bench now. Midfield is for Antonio Sanchez and Galarreta. Gio Gonzalez is on the right wing. Kangin Lee's on the left. And two strikers at the top, who are Ángel Rodriguez and Muri, who is also debuting today. So as we were saying, all the foreign papers and all the signing papers have been finalized. They've already come through. So it's great that they're ready and raring to go for the team. So yes, the novelties of today, we've got Rico in goal, Gio and Muri. And as I said, on the bench we have, just looking for it here, the return of Rayo, the Kaiser as we call him. So we'll see if he'll be able to have some playing time today. It's important to point out that we have not seen him play since the very first match of La Liga this year. There's other players such as Prat, Hop, Dani Rodriguez, Salva Sevilla. Battaglia, Take Kubo, of course. As we said, he's only just come back from matches with his own national football selection. So they're all there, all the main characters of the team there, hopefully ready to be brought out to perform for their team and try and get through to the semi-final. Yeah, so that is a bold choice there from Luis García Plaza to debut with his three new players. It will be interesting to see how he places them on the pitch. Like Juanchi said, we know that Gio can either be on the wing or in the center, so we'll see where he's placed in there. So that could be an interesting combination, interesting options for García Plaza. So we will definitely be talking more about those choices once we can begin to talk to Carlos Muñoz, who is going to be with us very shortly. So yes, Maffeo I think, is going to be in his natural position on the right. We know that in his Brazilian team River Plate, he was further back. But they are excellently versatile and mobile players. We know that Kangin Lee can move around as well. We know that Ángel can move towards the wing. But however, Puri is much more of a stable striker. Pues también se multiplican un poquito, ¿no? Las opciones, ¿no? que tiene. Recordemos que cuando However, of course, it's really good to see that with these new signings, it's so many more possible combinations as well for a starting lineup. So there's many new alternatives for Luis García Plaza, and we'll see how he places them on the pitch in an hour's time, which is when the match is going to kick off. Yes, so as you said, we will be hearing from Carlos Muñoz, our regular commentator and coach of the youth team, very shortly. But first of all, we're going to go to our first short ad break. But yes, I'm really excited about this lineup today. Lots of people following us on our YouTube channel today. People are very happy and excited about this lineup. Lots of disappointment that Taki Kubo is not going to start today, but that is understandable. He's genuinely just come back from Japan. So yes, kickoff is in an hour's time. Quarterfinal King's Cup match. So just one step away from the semi-final 10 years later for the team in red. And we are so eager to get through. Luis Garcia is betting on his 3 new signings. We'll see you in a second.
És el meu cor malferit que demana acció.
Un amor sense barreres davant meu ha cobrat vida.
Ja aviam què passa, ja aviam què passa. No sé què passa, ni per què passa, però sempre em passa.
Llenamos de contenidos tu vuelo y tú decides disfrutarlos o soñarlos en asientos cama. Te damos acceso directo al pasillo y tú decides máxima privacidad y confort. Llevamos más alto nuestra clase business y tú decides volar con nosotros. O no. Pero un consejo. Decide llegar tan lejos como quieras en la nueva clase business. Air Europa. Tú decides.
Grupo Escribano. Somos especialistas en reformas y fachadas. Financia ahora el 100% y paga en 12 meses sin intereses. Para importes desde 200 euros hasta 200.000 euros. 0% TAE. Grupo Escribano.
Bueno, pues estamos aquí ya de vuelta en este Play Red Live. Acabamos de dar
So we are back with our live pre-match coverage. Yes, we've got our 3 winter signings debuting today. Sergio Rico in goal, we've got Gio, and we've also got Muri. So as we said with Danny, we are still awaiting to hear exactly how to pronounce his surname properly, but we're going to go to our colleague Luis, who is there with Pedro Rostoy at the foot of the pitch. I think Luis can't hear us very well there. Just finishing up with some last... we can hear him now, I think. Yes, so we're here with second coach Pedro Rostoy. So 1 match away from making history. Yes, we're really excited. It's very intense. And we're just really excited to see if we can get through. So positive things are this new signings. But he was going to be even happier if he could bring them out today, and that he has. Yes, there's been some uncertainty right until the last minute because of the paper signings, but luckily it's all been fine. And I think this is a really fitting stage for them to come out and perform. What do you think are going to be the key points of the match today? I guess today is going to be about not repeating recent mistakes or the mistakes we made against Rayo Vallecano. We know that they're a really intense rival, but we need to face up to them and equalize them in aggressiveness. I think if we rise up to their level in that sense, it's going to be a great match, and it will be football that will decide. We need to be intense, we need to be aggressive. We need to compete to a maximum level against them. I guess today they don't really need a motivating pep talk. They're going to be, the excitement is going to be running through their veins. You know, it's 1 step away from a King's Cup semi-final, which is such an achievement. Well, we know how important this is. I was in Villarreal for 11 years, so we've got full intentions of going through, getting to that semi-final, and making it as difficult as possible for the rival. So the new signings have been training with you for several days now. So it's a great opportunity for Spain to see, have an idea of what we've brought. Yes, we've got a really strong new striker that has really good mobility in the area. I think he's going to have a really strong presence in the scoring area. Gio is a very intense player. He's good in 2 positions as well. He's a very interesting player for us, and he's got a very impressive CV as well. And of course, Sergio Rico is extremely exciting for all of us. But there's no surprises there. There's no presentation necessary, no introduction necessary for him. He's a really well-known player, really high-level player. And it's an amazing opportunity for us in the winter market. So we've suddenly come across this opportunity and we couldn't let it pass. So thank you very much, Pedro.
Hemos tenido ahí Hemos escuchado ahora a Luis que se quejaba por el micro, pero sí, hemos visto que se ha roto el cable. Seguramente al final hemos...
Yeah, so there was some problem with one of the microphone cables there, which will be worked upon and hopefully in the next couple of minutes. So just in case you missed anything there, obviously this is more for the Spanish viewers. Yes, there was some uncertainty about bringing out the 3 signings. Because of the papers, we didn't know if we'd have them in time. They have in the end. And clearly, Luis Garcia is trusting them and hopes they can bring something new and fresh to the team. So going to Danny. So what are things looking like in the stadium now? So, as Pedro Rostoy said, you know, we always take our hat off to him with the speeches that he gives. I'm just checking you can hear me properly, but no, I'm good. Good thing. So our apologies for that audio then in that interview with Pedro. We'll try and fix it as soon as possible. Yes, so whenever he speaks, he's always like an extension of Luis Garcia Plaza. And like he said, we're all excited to see what these players can bring to the table. A lot of times that people debate over whether King's Cup is a nuisance, and I think once again, time and time again, we say that it's of course not. It definitely isn't. It's actually a booster, because any victory right now is good for the team's morale. The victory against Español was great for the team's psychology. We're in a really important week right now. We've got an important league match on the weekend as well. So yes, on Saturday we are expecting Cádiz in our home stadium. So a victory here would give the team a massive plus, a massive confidence boost. And I think they would go ahead into the Saturday's match with an amazing confidence boost. Obviously, our aim is not to expect to win the King's Cup, but we'll definitely fight until the end and see how far we can go and enjoy more than anything. As we said earlier, Rayo Vallecano, we were unlucky against them in the first leg of the league.
Mucho frío y tal, pero que la verdad es que los jugadores lo dieron todo y dieron un auténtico recital. El Tigre marcó también un gol. ¿Te acuerdas bien de aquel partido, no?
20 minutos mágicos, ¿no? No, Dani marcó, ¿no fueron Abdón, Amati y Salva de falta?
However, the previous year they did an excellent match here against Rayo Vallecano on a very, very, very cold day. We're just debating about who were the goal scorers for Mallorca that evening. But we remember it extremely well. We remember the cold as well, that's for sure. Yes, there was those 20 magical minutes in that match that we could really hope for them to be repeated today.
Si quieres vemos el resumen del partido contra Español, porque madre mía cómo vivimos Juanjo, tú y yo esa falta.
So I think we're going to go and have a look at some the recap now of that match against Español recently. Yes, it was amazing, especially because of the rivalry between Español and Mallorca. You know, lots of them coming back up from second division last year, that direct rivalry that they have.
En el campo, ¿no? Que era un partido diferente y la verdad es que vemos al Mallorca que queremos ver siempre, ¿no?
I think that there was definitely a different energy on the pitch from the first moment. But of course, it's an energy that is not always there for Mallorca this season. Yes, there was a good start from Español there. But after that, Mallorca definitely did. I don't know whether to say the best match of the season, but it was definitely an amazing performance. It reminded us of some of those excellent matches last year where they really dominated. So we had an extremely confident Leo Roman in goal.
de Take Kubo porque te digo aún.
So talking about Take Kubo's goal there, every time I look at it, I can't believe it. What a goal. Because apart from the goal, what a great tactical play as well. There was like 18, 19 touches in a row until Español's foul. And Take was adamant that he wanted to take the free kick and score his first goal from a free kick. And it was great to, after that moment, bring Mallorca up to the advantage on the scoreboard. There was an amazing atmosphere as well. So we're looking at the beginning of the second half now, which carried on as we had hoped it would. Yeah, so as we did mention that day, Abdon's celebrations were almost right up in my face, but practically in the stadium. It was just fantastic. I think when Abdon scores a goal, it's a goal for all Mallorca fans and all the Mallorcanism, shall we say.
Aquí la acción de España, que justo la imagen de la federación nos enseña, ¿no? Como ya habían sacado, aún no había pitado, tenía la mano ahí en el silbato, el gol que no era fuera de juego. 6 minutos, ¿no? Estuvo revisando.
And so there was those 6 minutes on VAR where they were revising on whether it was a goal or not. There was eternal 6 minutes for us. But of course, it definitely gave a lot of tension and excitement to the match. Luckily, it didn't affect the end result. Kang In-lee there working his magic, who's also going to be in the starting lineup today. What a roulette there. Yes, definitely some Korean magic from Kang In-lee. Amazing to see the celebrations there from the fans in the stadium. We saw Vicente Moreno greeting Take Kubo there. So everybody was very happy that day. We saw the excitement from all the fans. And I remember the words both from Take and from Abdon. That you could tell that there was a really good energy from all the players during that match. And today's another amazing opportunity to make history. Yes, well, as I said, the whole team and the coaches are extremely excited and eager to perform in this cup and this tournament. So Jaume Costa, for example, take him as an example. He's an extremely veteran player for Mallorca. So he was asked how many of these important King's Cup matches he had played in his career with Mallorca, and he said 1 semi-final, that's all. So you can tell there how far it is for Mallorca to come this time. It really is a great feat. So, and when you think about it, when you put it on paper and you see that we're only 2 matches away from a final, it is easy to get carried away with that, but we're just enjoying the ride and enjoying the fact that we're here in the quarterfinals anyway. So from where I am in the commentary box, I can see that the goalkeepers have already come onto the pitch to start warming up. I think the rest of the players will be on in around 5 to 10 minutes. We can see Luis V, the goalkeeper's coach there with Sergio Rico. Manolo is also there. He's also, we know that he's an extremely popular goalkeeping coach with all of the potential goalkeepers for the team. Grave, of course, we must mention him, who is, of course, on the team, but he is off injured.
este partido. Y sí, estaba viendo ahí yo me he columpiado un poquito, ¿no? Con ese gol de Dani Rodríguez contra el Rayo. Efectivamente tenías tu razón.
¿Sí?
Pues no sé qué gol me habrá recordado Dani, porque me ha dicho que sí. Yo creo que no se atrevió a corregirme el pobre. Pero bueno.
No, ya te digo, Dani. Demasiado bueno es Dani, siempre. Tú también, Dani.
Ah, no, pero yo creo que él sí que hizo la jugada de algún gol, ¿eh? No sé si el de Abdón.
So we're just debating because Danny said previously that it had been Dani Rodriguez that scored against Rayo Vallecano the previous season, but I'm just looking at the statistics and the results and I can see that he didn't, but he might have set up one of the goals, that's for sure. And especially because I was talking about it today to him on the plane, and he definitely agreed with me. So hopefully we can achieve some more goals like that today.
Creo que tenemos problemas técnicos ahora con nuestro mister, con Carlos Muñoz, que en unos segundos. Sí, pero bueno, no te preocupes.
So it seems that we're having some technical issues with Carlos Muñoz, our other commentator, but we hope to be with him very, very soon.
Nuestro mister de la Copa. La verdad que no pudo estar el día del Español, porque tú bien sabes por qué, porque tenía ese partido también contra el Español.
Yes, we know that he's obviously extremely busy with the youth team as well. In the match against Español, he wasn't able to commentate with us because he was coaching his own team in a match. That happens very often, but today he is here with us, luckily for us. So we can see the lineup there in the bottom of the screen. So obviously we've got a couple of faceless figures because they haven't had their official photos taken yet for these shots. So yes, it's the invisible man there, Sergio Rico.
Hemos de decirlo, lo vamos a contar, que hemos tenido que centrar todos nuestros recursos en que llegaran los papeles de extranjería, entonces no nos ha quedado tiempo.
Of course, however, it is definitely worth mentioning that we've had to put all our resources into getting their foreign agency papers through in time for this match. But yeah, I was thinking maybe we could have taken a quick picture of them on the plane and just made a kind of, homemade collage to put their faces on there today. But yes, nobody panic when nobody is faceless. Everybody has a face, and also they're very eager people as well.
Ya Muri en el 11. Tengo ganas, Le tengo que preguntar a Luis Seoane, que a lo mejor sí que lo sabe, cómo hay que llamar a Muri y Dani, no sé si...
So we should definitely ask Luis how to pronounce Muri's surname, because he may well know how to pronounce it properly. Well, yes, Luis should know it because he knows everything that goes on in the changing rooms. So yes, we're witnessing the team coming on now to warm up. And we've also got Carlos with us now. So Carlos, can you hear us? Good evening. Yes, good evening. Yeah, we were a little bit worried that you weren't going to join us today. Yes, there were some connection problems. Everything's fine though. Have you seen the lineup? What a surprise, right? So, or is it a surprise? However, it seems that the fans are extremely excited and they agree with bringing out all the new guys. Yes, well, talking to Luis Garcia, he told me that if the papers were ready, he was going to bring them all out to play. And I'm just really excited to see how they fit into the team. Obviously, Gonzalez, Gio, his ideal position seems to be on the right wing, but we'll see how he does in whatever position he's put on today. Sergio Rico in goal is obviously an excellent signing too, so it's really exciting to see what he will do. Looking at these images of Muriqi there, it's an interesting choice to bring out two of those strikers at the top at the beginning, especially such physical players up against a very physical rival in Rayo Vallecano.
Que está haciendo una temporada muy buena y que tiene jugadores de muchísima calidad, muy físicos también, y es una manera a lo mejor pues de buscar estas cosas diferentes, ¿no?
So it's a good way to look for all these kind of different alternatives. Yeah, I think it's a tried and tested method for Mallorca, actually.
Con Muriqui, si arranca bien, Ángel puede ser mucho mejor jugador de lo que ha sido en esta
I think if Muriqui starts well, it's going to be a great opportunity for Ángel to be a much better player than what he showed this season.
Nueva posición de Antonio Sánchez, más cerca de Galarreta.
Antonio Sanchez's new position as well will be interesting. So it'll be really a good way to see how we're doing. So I don't know if you've seen Gio's father's interview earlier with Juanchi, but he was saying how versatile a player he is. So he's almost like a double winger as well. Which reminds us of Bordalas's very good Getafe years. Which is going to work very well with born fighters such as Pablo Maffeo and Gio González. I think those central midfielders are going to be key today. I'm also really looking forward to seeing Ángel Rodríguez working from the back as well, because of Muriqui's ability to rescue those balls, especially because, I mean, look at him, look at the physicality of him. And that way Ángel can move around slightly more and he can be the bodyguard for the defense as well.
Él tenía mucha más libertad, los defensas suelen fijar al jugador más grande y él entra de segunda línea y puede sorprender. Aparte, yo creo que estaba
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good surprise because the rival defense usually go to try and mark the biggest defense player, which gives the other defense players more leg room. And I think it's going to be such a confidence booster if we manage to get through to the next round. But yeah, he's a big man, Muriqui. But yeah, he's even bigger than Franco Russo, that's for sure.
Pues que lo cuente Luis Sebane, que yo creo que ya le tenemos ahí a pie de campo y él sí que le ve.
Well, you don't need to hear from me. Let's hear from Luis, who's down on the pitch with him. Yes, I hope you can hear me properly. Just as Rayo Vallecano enter the stadium to start warming up. So I can confirm the pronunciation is Murishi. Of course, I imagine that the Turkish will have a slightly different or slightly better pronunciation than that, but to keep it simple and easily pronounceable for us, we will go with Murishi. But we don't want to annoy or upset anybody with that pronunciation. But yes, he's a very, very big person. His his legs are extremely wide and strong. They look like two Roman columns. And from a sporting point of view, he definitely looks extremely threatening.
No, te digo que tiene muy buena pinta. Y es que yo solo, lo ha dicho Carlos, solo viéndolo al lado de Russo, ya te da la sensación de jugador grande.
Yeah, and also just to place him next to Russo, that already gives you an idea of the stature of this player.
Carlos.
So we hope that he starts today in the best possible way. But yes, just one step away from King's Cup semi-final. 10 years that we hadn't been in a quarter-final. So there's so much eagerness for another one of those magical history-making nights. Yes, it's going to be a beautiful battle for 90 minutes. Obviously, we've got those bitter memories of Vallecas from this year. I think the first area action is going to be absolutely key. Vallecano's main advantages is that they become very intense right from the first moment. So we need to be quicker than them and more aggressive than them. And it's amazing to think that we're so close to a possible King's Cup final. So, talking about the role of that Antonio Sanchez could have today, maybe reconversing to the pivot position. So he may start the match today in the midfield with Galarreta. So it's been a long time coming. Yes, I think with Galarreta, he is looking for somebody who knows how to treat the ball. And he's a very adaptable player. When he came out of the youth team, he was very often in that position. He's been used as a winger by Mallorca in recent years. But he's a really good resource, and I think if it works, Luis García Plaza has made a very clever decision today. But yes, we've got some really good memories of that central midfielder Antonio, so we're really excited to see that. So, speaking of players that can do some damage, we've also got Kangin Lee starting today. Of course, Take is starting on the bench as he's been playing with his Japanese football selection. He is rather tired. Yes, of course, I imagine that Luis García is still keeping in mind the league match that we have on Saturday. So maybe for Take to play on for 90 minutes a day would leave him far too worn out for Saturday's match. But we hope that the decisions that Luis García makes are the wise ones today.
Es un momento decisivo por un poco los partidos que vienen. Hoy estos cuartos de final de la Copa, el sábado pues contra un rival directo aquí en el RCD Mallorca Stadi. Pero el equipo, te iba a preguntar un poco también por el tema de esta semana y media de descanso, entre comillas, ¿no?
So speaking about this 10 days of rest that they've had, they haven't played for almost 2 weeks actually. It was 2 Saturdays ago. So it's been time to observe, analyze and rest, especially from a psychological point of view. I imagine that that's benefited them greatly.
Bueno, me consta de la semana pasada trabajaron muy bien porque suelo hablar con el cuerpo técnico del primer equipo.
As far as I know, I usually speak to the technician's body. They inform me that they've had a really good training week. I think they had a day off on Friday, which always is amazing from a mental point of view. And then Saturday and Sunday will have been focused on today's match and from then on. And I think that, yes, this rest time will have been great for the team as a whole. Of course, it would have been lovely to have the quarterfinal at home. That would have been a lovely reward for all the support for the Mallorca fans.
Pero lo decía el segundo técnico de Luis García Plaza, ¿no? No se pueden
But like Pedro Rostoy was saying, we cannot repeat the same mistakes as in the last league match, especially because of the intensity that Vallecano is going to bring today.
Bueno, que Iraola, el míster, ya sabe lo que es llevar a un equipo a semifinales de Copa, entonces lo tiene bien calculado, pero es eso, ¿no?
Of course, their coach also knows what it is to bring a team to a King's Cup semi-final, so he knows about how intense it all is. Yeah, if we had to define Rayo Vallecano, it's a maximum intensity team. They were much more intense. We made some mistakes at the beginning, so we need to control them. They're a very vertical team. They're very quick at creating and ending opportunities.
Y sobre todo lo que hay que tener en cuenta es que en casa todo lo que hace aparentemente lo hace bien. Si bien es cierto que el último partido.
And to be honest, everything they do at home is usually very good. However, they did lose recently against Athletic Club, which was they lost 1-0 with an absolute fantastic goal from one of the players from Athletic Club. So that was a very good description of Rayo there. So Danny, let's have a look at the other team, the rival team's starting lineup. Yes, so I will, but I'm going to need Carlos's help for this. So Rodriguez and Bayu, Catera in central defense, Suarez and Oscar in midfield.
En los últimos partidos ha empleado a Mario y bueno. A Mario, ¿no? Sí, y da descanso al otro.
Yes, so I think it's going to be Mario with Catena in central defense there.
Creo que Catena Mario como centrales, Oscar Comesaña ahí en el doble pivote y después bueno, pues sale con todo también en lo que tiene arriba, ¿no? Con Oscar Trejo también el ex del
And up the top we've got Trejo, ex-Mallorca player, and then Guardiola, Palazón and Álvaro up the top striking for Vallecano today.
Así es, cualquier jugador jugando ahí al tercer hombre con Sergi Guardiola, descarga de cara, la movilidad que tiene Trejo. Tenemos que estar muy atentos en
Yes, anybody who is going to have to defend against those three strikers is going to have have their eyes peeled at all times. They're very quick players. But we've got good angles on the ball, we've got good players there. I think it can be a really nice match, but we need to keep control of certain players.
Y sobre todo la incidencia de los laterales. Es un equipo que sus laterales incorporan en el momento adecuado y cuando incorporan hacen mucho daño.
Y en el partido de la primera vuelta yo recuerdo que nos hicieron mucho daño precisamente por las bandas, es decir, con esa.
Yes, and they were extremely damaging in the first leg of the league, especially on the wings. So that is something that we will have to rectify today.
Con jugadores ofensivos lo es Jaume Acosta, lo es Mafeo, pero también lo es Diego González y Kangin Lee, ¿no? Así que va a haber, yo creo, una batalla en las bandas.
However, we've got a very good arsenal of players on the wings today, so it's going to be the battle of the wings. But yes, we've also got that extra motivation boost having our three new signings with us.
El condicionante del partido. Al final hoy si se gana a partido único con este condicionante de la Copa del Rey es meterte en unas semifinales y optar a estar un paso de poder disputar un título.
Yes, we need to remember where we are as well and how far we've already come in the tournament.
No permite, ¿no?, la entrada de afición visitante por las medidas, ¿no?, de COVID que tienen implementadas.
Of course, it's very important to point out that Rayo Vallecano, because of their COVID restrictions, does not allow visiting fans into the stadium. However, we can see some people supporting Mallorca, which we imagine have come from nearby to show their support. I haven't been able to speak to them. However, I've got one of the Mallorca fans' phones charged inside the commentary box, so I'm hoping that I will be able to support them later. But yes, they're definitely die-hard fans. They came in to ask if they could charge their phone with the Mallorca mask on. But yeah, they asked me if they could charge their phone. I said, yeah, of course, the bill is going to go to Rayo Vallecano, so work away, you can definitely charge your phone.
Algo por Twitter he visto, gente pícara que ha hablado con peñas rayistas y demás para conseguir entradas. Al final el mallorquinismo es lo que hace, Dani, mueve montañas y la gente pues ha intentado...
But yeah, so a lot of big rivalry between the both fan bases, but that's football at the end of the day, and...
colas para el Rayo para comprar las entradas porque creo que no venían en el abono, pero colas esta mañana increíbles, ¿no? No sé si lo habéis visto.
But there was a massive waiting list for the tickets for the match as well this morning.
De la mañana colas largas para conseguir una entrada para estos partidos de cuartos.
A ver, lo de las colas no lo he visto esta mañana, pero sí que es verdad que yo que habitualmente vengo pronto a los estadios. Hoy hemos venido también prontito, más de 2 horas antes de...
Well, today we were here really early, over 3 hours before the match in the stadium. But there was actually nobody on the street today. However, today it was a kind of special atmosphere. You know, there was police, the road was cut off, there was an eerie kind of silence. an emptiness
aquí
in the street.
en las inmediaciones de Vallecas, y sí que se nota, ¿no? Un ambiente un poquito especial. Son los cuartos de final de la Copa del Rey. Imagínate, ¿no? La temporada que está haciendo el Rayo en Liga.
However, it's a kind of match that warrants a special atmosphere. It's King's Cup semi-final, quarter-final, sorry. However, we will be the ones that try and get through to the semi-final.
Va a ser complicado y vamos a ver un partido también bonito. Recordemos entre dos recién ascendidos también esta temporada, el Mallorca y el Español.
Yes, we want to point out that both teams have come back up from second division.
En este caso, a través del playoff.
Y el Rayo Vallecano, que creo que en esta Copa del Rey todavía no ha jugado contra ningún equipo de primera. La última eliminatoria fue contra...
However, it's very important to point out that at the moment in this tournament, Rayo Vallecano has not played against any first division team. So to have that kind of complacency they've had until now, hopefully that could knock them off course as well today.
Más allá de 3 puntos, ¿no? Que al final pues la liga es larga, puedes fallar una vez, pues al final... El final de la liga, la regularidad es lo que te da.
So of course we know that the league is a whole different story because one mistake can be forgiven. There's 3 points to play for every time you go out on the pitch. So it's a whole different story here. You know, there's 90 minutes that is make or break.
No tiene mucha incidencia el hecho de que sea una eliminatoria. Sí que es cierto que vas dando inputs de posibilidades, ¿no? De cuando quedan 10, 15 minutos, posibilidades de prórroga, tampoco hay que volverse loco, ¿no? Bueno, y después ya pues la incidencia de la prórroga, lo que te puede dar unos penaltis, etcétera, etcétera.
Of course, here as well there's the addition of extra time and penalties, the potential of that as well, which can make a match extremely strenuous and long. But of course, the players always just want to win the match, so they're always up for doing that, and I think hopefully it doesn't all boil down to the last minutes of the match. Especially as well today for Luis García Plaza, any time he needs to turn back and have a look at the bench for support, he will have, what a lineup he's going to have on the bench today. Got Salva, Hop, Dani Rodriguez, Abdon, Take, Raillo, Indiaye. So it's a really, really high quality bench that we've got there today. So in any case, even if there is extra time, there are many, many players that can come on and perform for us. So 6 potential changes that Luis García Plaza could do. That's 6 potential really good players that Mallorca could bring on today.
Como en el banquillo brutal y si a esto le añades que hace un par de días se cerró el mercado y el Mallorca se refuerza, pues mucho más. Al final yo creo que
yeah, looking at that bench is incredible, and if you consider that only a couple of days ago the winter market was closed, then we've really benefited greatly from that, and it's massive assets that we're going to bring to the stadium today, to the match.
Pero te he de decir que el Mallorca B estaba jugando ahora mismo jornada de Liga Intersemanal contra Josetense, uno de los equipos de arriba. Y antes
so just point out, Mallorca B was playing against Josetense right now.
Con paso fuerte en la Liga, de camino a la segunda división de la Federación. No sé si lo sabías, Carlos, pero bueno, que los de Julián ya...
Who were on their way to the second division.
Estaba viendo la alineación y los primeros minutos y bueno.
Yes, they've gone into half-time in the lead, which is good news, of course. Yes, they're having a very, very good season. They've got some really important players.
Déjame decirte, Esteban, relación con lo que dices, ¿no? El otro día, el último día de mercado de fichajes, estaba en las oficinas hablando con Miquel Toni Jalabert, el jefe de...
Yes, I was talking to the head of the signings just a couple of days ago. And we were talking about the difficulty. You know, we talk about Mallorca B, and it's great that they're getting the points.
Y para los entrenadores como Carlos y compañía, hay muchos jugadores que entrenan con el primer equipo,
And the difficulty that it is for the coaches such as Carlos, who is of course in charge of the youth team, because of how many players that train with the main team, with the first division team. You know, up to 6-7 players that train with the other team. So, which means that they always have to have alternative players or less players, or then trying to adapt and just kind of make everything work despite the fact that those players haven't been there training with them. And that's always a challenge. So it really isn't easy to have had a good season with all those, with COVID, with the injuries, different circumstances. Yes, January has not been an easy month for those lower ranked teams.
Y más los jugadores de ficha de filial está nutriendo al primer equipo cuando lo necesita y encima está compitiendo bien. Igual el juvenil A y el juvenil B. El juvenil A es verdad. Tengo la suerte de poder
yes, both youth team A and B are doing very well.
Hasta 8 y 10 jugadores entre semana. Están respondiendo muy bien las generaciones más tempranas de primero y segundo año.
But the younger generation, especially first and second years, are responding really well to all these challenges. But of course, the club is the hierarchy. The priority is the first team. And we're just proud to have all these youngsters that can come up and start training with them. So 14 minutes away from I can already have, I've got the image already of the pitch in the screen in front of me, although I'm really enjoying to see the amazing goals that the strikers are scoring in the warm-up. We're going to go and speak to Luis, who is pitch side. So how many goals has Muri scored already?
Así es, conecta conmigo Esteban porque me tiene fumado, macho, ya verás a final de mes.
No le da bola, tú.
Pues sí, Muri lleva...
Yes, finally you've come to hear from me.
Estoy aquí pidiendo el pase, tengo los brazos abiertos, pero no...
Yeah, I've been asking for it for ages. I've been wanting to talk for minutes and minutes. Yeah, it's an amazing warm-up we are witnessing here.
De esa posición, ¿no? Que ya la conoce bien porque jugó muchos partidos ahí en su etapa en el Mirandés. Yo creo que Antonio Sánchez hoy se sale, mister, lo digo, hoy se sale. Y por cierto, no sé si habéis hecho vuestra porra particular o no, Esteban, Dani, porque ha habido un momento en el que he dejado de escucharos.
So I think Antonio Sánchez is going to shine today. My prediction today is a 2-1 victory for Mallorca. I don't know if you've done your predictions yet. Yes, well, I predicted the correct result at the very first time I had the chance to do it, and I'm still waiting for my prize, but I'll let you go.
No, porque
sí, yo no quiero sufrir tanto, mister, que aquí hace mucho frío, ¿eh?
No, porque Carlos, nuestro mister, sabe que el tiempo añadido de la prórroga se paga más caro y claro, dice, pues venga, ya que estoy me quedo.
So Carlos has gone for a Mallorca victory, but scored in extra time. And Danny said that, yeah, it's a very wise decision because he knows that he'll be paid extra if we have to go to extra time. So I'm going to also go for a 2-1. I don't know if I can have the same prediction as Luis. Well, I've been told that I can't say the same. So I'll go for 3-1 then, go on.
Venga, 1-3, 1-3. Venga, 1-3, 1-3. Venga,
eso sí iba a decir, ¿no? Si se repite, se comparte premio. Justo, Dani, decirte que yo ya tenía...
Well, I guess you could say the same, but you'd have to share the prize if you won.
Así que yo voy a decir un 0-1.
I'm going to go for a steady 1-0 victory. And I think Muri is going to score today, our new friend. And that way I can get Muri's shirt and I'll get it in his size too, because I'm sure that with my physique I'll fit into his shirt very well. Yeah, so we can see the Mallorca team players going off the pitch there in the final minutes of the pre-match time. And we can see the Rayo Vallecano team also exiting into the changing rooms amid applause from the fans.
Que podemos ver allí justo encima de los vestuarios, de momento no los vemos en posición. Sí que vemos las otras dos tribunas, sobre todo la tribuna principal cubierta bastante llena y la de enfrente que creo que tiene una parte de arriba que
So as we can see on the sides of the pitch, we can see a packed stadium, at least in the lower part, but it still is filling up on the top and bottom of the stadium.
Que no juega una semifinal, que no se clasifica para esa instancia de Copa del Rey y por lo tanto para la gente local, para la gente de Vallecas también un partido muy importante el que tienen hoy aquí en su estadio.
Yeah, so you can tell how important a match this is for the Rayo Vallecano fans too. So yes, we know that Rayo Vallecano has only been in one semi-final before, but as we are 11 minutes away from kickoff now, we are going to go to one last short ad break, and we'll be back with you very soon for the match kickoff at 8 o'clock sharp with Dani Barjacoba, Luis Seoane on the pitch side.
Llenamos de contenidos tu vuelo y tú decides disfrutarlos o soñarlos en asientos cama. Te damos acceso directo al pasillo y tú decides máxima privacidad y confort. Llevamos más alto nuestra clase business y tú decides volar con nosotros. O no. Pero un consejo. Decide llegar tan lejos como quieras en la nueva clase business. Air Europa. Tú decides.
És el meu cor malferit que demana acció.
Un amor sense barreres davant meu ha cobrat vida.
Ja aviam què passa, ja aviam què passa. No sé què passa, ni per què passa, però sempre em passa.
Grupo Escribano. Somos especialistas en reformas y fachadas. Financia ahora el 100% y paga en 12 meses sin intereses. Para importes desde 200 euros hasta 200.000 euros. 0% TAE. Grupo Escribano.
Ambientazo ya aquí en Vallecas, Dani Barjacoba.
So what an atmosphere in the stadium here, ready for kickoff. Dani Barjacoba, I'm leaving it in your hands now. We're ready for kickoff.
Pues escuchando y leyendo un poquito a nuestra afición, Dani, cántanos mucho.
I've been having a listen and a look at some comments from the fans, and they're all really excited to see Muri work his magic today.
Nuestro míster analizando el partido, no salen todavía los jugadores, eso sí.
So the players are not on the pitch yet.
Estás por ahí, bueno, pues la verdad es que mucho ambiente y gritos también aquí en la grada de Vallecas, ¿eh?
Yes, lots of atmosphere, lots of shouting in the Rayo Vallecano stands.
La gente ya esperando la llegada de su presidente, al que no reciben con todos los honores, más bien lo contrario. Y llama la atención, ¿no?, que el fondo donde habitualmente se ubican los bucaneros continúa vacío. Leíamos, nos pasaba Esteban, ¿no?, haciendo ahí un buen scouting por redes, nos pasaba alguna información que comentan que hay problemas en la entrada al fondo, que no permiten el acceso con nada, ni bufanda o...
Yes, we hear that they are having some access problems to the stadium, where there's some people who cannot come through one of the entrances. I was slightly rushing as I got to the stadium today, but it did seem that everything was okay then, so I will keep an ear out to see what's going on there and let you know. But it seems that there still are some fans, some Rayo fans of course, that have not been able to take their seats, so we will be ready and waiting for any news on that. So thanks for that, Luis. We can see the Mallorca players that are going to be on the bench today coming onto the pitch.
Del banquillo del Real Mallorca, que van saliendo uno a uno los jugadores titulares que ya están en el túnel esperando para que el colegiado dé el ok y salten al terreno de juego. Vamos a recordar ese 11.
And the other players are all there ready and waiting for the referee to say they can come on. So we're going to go through the lineup one more time. We've got Sergio Rico in goal, Jaume Costa on the left wing, Pablo Mafeo on the right wing, with Franco Russo and Martin Valjean in central defence, Galarreta and Antonio Sanchez on double pivot, Gio Gonzalez and on the right wing, Kangin Lee on the left wing, and then double strikers today. We've got Ángel Rodriguez and Murishi debuting in Vallecas, number 7, and what a match to be able to do so in. So yes, the 22 players starting the match today are on the pitch now. They're ready and waiting to take the official team photo for the match. Just reading out the refereeing lineup.
Para posteriormente hacer la foto de esos 11 iniciales y empezará el partido, rodará el balón en busca de esas semifinales de Copa del Rey.
So yes, and we're just waiting for kickoff now. Just a minute away.
Claro, yo creo que ha salido, pues supongo que el presidente del Rayo Vallecano, porque le tengo de espaldas. Y bueno, pues está intercambiando opiniones, lo vamos a decir todo de la manera más...
Yes, so of course I am witnessing this here, and I can see the what seems to be the Vallecas president, who seems to be exchanging opinions with his Mallorcan counterpart. So just going through the Rayo Vallecano lineup one more time before kickoff. Finishing off with that Trejo, Guardiola and Palazón triple strikers today.
También de este equipo, el jugador del Real Mallorca, saludando ahora a Martin Valjean, ¿no?, que ejerce de capitán en el día de hoy.
So Martin Valjean is captaining for Mallorca today, the Slovakian midfielder.
Del Mallorca que están ya preparados para esa piña. Un minutito para llegar a las 8 de la tarde.
So just 1 minute away from kickoff time now, which has just turned over to 8 o'clock.
Te iba a decir que estoy viendo ahora que en el Twitter oficial de los Bucaneros habían puesto que acaban de poner en el fondo se están hoy aplicando prohibiciones que no se han aplicado nunca. Pretenden que este partido se juegue sin Bucaneros. El Rayo Vallecano quiere unos cuartos de Copa con el fondo vacío. No sé si acabarán entrando o no, pero bueno, no lo vais
So I'm just reading from some Twitter comments here. There seems to be some restrictions to the Buccaneers, which is what the Vallecano fans call themselves. They're saying that there have been some restrictions today that they've never seen before. So we'll keep you posted with that. And yes, and it is going to be Murici to have the first touch of the ball. So he's talking to Ángel, but in the end it's actually going to go to Galarreta, neither Ángel nor Murici. And here we go, and we're off. So Franco Russo sends it upwards looking for Murici. A long ball over to Valgent, who plays with his goalkeeper. First ball for Sergio Rico. Passes to Kanginli. Muri to Jaume Costa. Looking for Ángel Rodriguez at the top. However, advantage to Vallecanos, who pass it back to their goalkeeper. Good header from Valgent. Shame they lost the ball there. Vallecano on the counter-attack. And it's going to be a throw-in for Mallorca. Of course, you see me often crouching down, but of course that is to be able to see better because of the location of the commentary box. Another throw-in for Mallorca.
Sacará Jaume Costa. Primeros compases de partido y bueno, Carlos, que sabemos que tienes un poquito de delay en la imagen que te llega ahí al Estadio Somos, pero bueno, primeros minutos y parece que es el Mallorca, ¿no?, el que quiere llevar la iniciativa.
So it seems like Mallorca is trying to dominate and take initiative at the moment.
La intensidad del rival y sobre todo sin complicaciones atrás. Hemos visto un par de despejes, primera intervención de Murici de espaldas y descargando de cara.
Yes, we saw a confident first intervention from Murici.
En estos minutos no encajar, ir a partido largo y ahí es donde el equipo tiene opciones.
Recupera esa pelota el Rayo, ponía bien la pierna, pero el Real Mallorca, Ángel Rodríguez, no llega Muri precisamente al pase de Kanginli. Y el portero Dimitrievski que la vuelve a poner arriba. La ventaja para Martin Valgent. Comesaña que juega para Isi Palazón. Cuidado,
so,
tiene velocidad. Cuidado.
Valgent in possession, but Vallecano were on the counter-attack then.
Cambio de orientación al otro costado. La cabeza de Maffeo, el balón le cae a Trejo.
Maffeo and the ball is left to Trejo.
La pared con Trejo. Bien la recuperación de Galarreta. Aparece también Ángel que cae al suelo y recibe la falta. Mucha veteranía del delantero para parar el juego y provocar esa falta a favor del equipo.
Trejo there demonstrating his veteran qualities and provoking a foul in his favor.
Duelos que se pueden ir a prórroga, quién sabe si a penaltis, es importante, ¿no?, gestionar muy bien los tempos y tampoco ir desgastándose más de la cuenta, ¿no?, por si esto se puede alargar.
Sí, así es. Al final el equipo está muy bien ahora en segundas jugadas, salvo esta última acción. El equipo ha ganado todos los duelos y bueno, yo veo el equipo bien plantado, serio y sobre todo ahora.
Yes, I think the team looks very well placed at the moment, and I'm getting more confident all the time.
Vemos que hay problemas para Jaume Costa. Sí, es Jaume Costa el que está tendido sobre el terreno de juego. Creo que se ha pegado un cabezazo, no sé con qué jugador del Rayo Vallecano.
So it seems that Jaume Costa headbutted one of the other players by accident there, and he is down on the pitch. So the medics are tending to him at the moment. But I'm sure he'll be back up in no time. As we know, Jaume Costa is definitely tough as nails.
El primer recurso de jugar directo sobre Murici, que no lo habíamos visto mucho este año, y mira, acción de falta lateral, interesante.
Y vamos a ver, porque ahí está jugando el Real Mallorca, en cortito al menos. Cuidado, se ha equivocado Kangin Lee, la ha perdido también Ángel. Sale el Rayo con Trejo por esta parte derecha, bien a taponar ahí Antonio Sánchez, desbanda para el Mallorca, sí.
Antonio Sánchez covering there, and very good action there by Antonio Sánchez. Is a throw in for Mallorca.
Indicando que es balón para el equipo de Luis García Plaza.
The ball goes to Luis García Plaza's boys.
Bueno, la verdad es que buena temperatura para lo que es un 2 de febrero Madrid y Vallecas.
We haven't mentioned it yet, but I must say it's a pretty good temperature for a February evening in the Vallecas Stadium. We're around 7 degrees now, but I'm definitely wrapped up nice and warm. Yeah, however, I would say that definitely where I am on the pitch, Danny, it's definitely a couple of degrees colder than that.
El delantero de Ángel, ese balón que sale por banda. La pondrá Rodríguez por ese costado izquierdo.
So Rodríguez sending it up the left side.
No primera oportunidad ni en el área de Sergio Rico, ni tampoco en la de Dimitrievski. Recupera el balón el Mallorca, bien ahí para Kangin Lee, haciendo de las suyas, pisa el balón, pone a la derecha para la incorporación de Gio. La controla evitando que
so we're waiting for Gio's incorporation here.
Finalmente no la pitó el colegiado, será banda para el Rayo Vallecano.
And it ends up in a throw-in for Rayo Vallecano.
Jugando el conjunto de Andoni Iraola. Ese balón atrás para Catena.
Andoni Iraola's team there in possession.
Con el 20 a la espalda, la pone por abajo, buscando a Guardiola. Quedó cortito, recuperó Jaume Costa, combina ya con Murici.
Jaume Costa recovers the ball, playing with Murici. We were looking for a pass from Ángel, but Oscar Retin was there with his leg prepared for Rayo Vallecano. However, Muri is definitely popping up in the mix, which is really comforting for us and exciting to see. And also very good to see how well he seems to be fitting into the team. Yes, he's been adapting to the team very well. It's not an easy situation, but that's football. I think the team looks really good in that switch in roles at the moment. And when they've all got to come closer to each other, which they undoubtedly will, they'll just have to adapt to that challenge as well. Rayo Vallecano playing on the defense line. Santi Comesaña trying to start something there. They're up 3/4 of the way up now. It could be a good midfield pass there. Martin Valjean heads it back in defense. Kangin Lee is also there to help. And in the end, the ball ends up for Mallorca.
Se enfadaba Antonio Sánchez por el empujón que le ha pegado jugador del Rayo Vallecano.
Antonio Sanchez slightly annoyed there from a shove he got from one of the Rayo Vallecano players. Murici in possession but was not able to control that ball there.
Estaba lesionado en el partido de la primera vuelta y que no pudo reencontrarse en el verde con su ex equipo. Otra vez a Mario Suárez, parece que no tiene mucha prisa, ¿no? El Rayo Vallecano, ahora sí con Comesaña, ahora sí entrando en territorio mallorquinista.
Rayo Vallecano in possession, they're in Mallorca's territory. Comesaña passes right. They're inside the goal scoring area now. Guardiola in possession. But Galarreta was there in time and he was very well placed. And a touch there from Antonio Sanchez means that it's a corner, the first corner of the match for Rayo Vallecano.
Desvió la trayectoria al jugador del Mallorca. Y bueno, primera oportunidad, balón parado para el conjunto madrileño. El Mallorca que defiende con todo dentro de su área. Tan solo Gio fuera del semicírculo. Ahí está el saque de esquina, muy pasado, muy pasado. Pone la cabeza ahora Franco Russo, ese balón que cae en Ángel. Se la quita
so Mallorca in possession with Franco Russo and Ángel. Kangin Lee joins.
A la derecha, el balonazo buscando aquí a Murici, la cabeza ahora del jugador del Rayo
Murici in possession. heads the ball and ends up in Dimitrievski's hands, the goalkeeper for Rayo. So a very good play from Russo there on the right-hand side.
2 minutos últimos el Rayo ha incidido un poco más en el área y también cuando un equipo se estira te da esa oportunidad de los metros que te deja la espalda para poder hacer un juego más vertical, como es el caso de esta última jugada.
Yes, luckily we've been able to create some quite vertical bits of play in the last couple of minutes, like we just witnessed then. So Oscar and Trejo in possession for Rayo Vallecano. Rodriguez and Guardiola have found a gap there to get through. And eventually the ball goes to the goalkeeper, to Sergio Rico. Yes, so we can see Luis García Plaza making the most of it. There's moments there and having some words with Kangin Lee, no doubt giving some constructive criticism and instructions. Yes, it seems like we've taken the pressure off slightly at the top now, which is obviously what we want to avoid. But their action on the wings just now is something that could cause us some damage, so we're going to have to try and prevent that from happening. So Valjean heads it straight out, and Rayo Vallecano are rushing to take this throw in. They definitely want to pick up the pace and create some intensity here. Trejo in front of Galarreta.
Juega Isi hacia atrás y Mario que vuelve a empezar. El balón para Catena.
Ball goes to Catena now. They're starting once again, starting from the back.
Y este en cortito para Bayiu. Bien la presión aquí de Kangin Lee y efectivamente ese balón va a ser para el Mallorca.
The pressure is on from Kangin Lee and the ball goes back to Mallorca now.
Jugando de primeras Antonio Sánchez, la perdió.
Antonio Sánchez in possession but loses the ball. Galarreta.
Balón que continúa, la tiene el Mallorca, más feo que la pone, rechazó a la Catena, se levanta ya Galarreta ahí con problemas, bien la cabeza.
Galarreta gets back up.
La pone para Murishi, la puede controlar, se quiere girar.
Murishi is in possession. He's controlling the ball at the moment. Back to Kangin Lee. Is he going to score? And the flag goes up. And that is completely despairing, the fact that they raised the flag so late, but what an excellent opportunity there. Murishi really fought to keep that ball on the ground and in his own possession, in the end enabling Kangin Lee to get through there and play.
Hizo la vaselina, volvió a marcar en Copa, pero no valió ese tanto. En cualquier caso, buena llegada del Mallorca. Carlos.
Sí, ha habido una jugada buenísima ahí, hemos luchado hasta el último momento, ahora sale la repetición y bueno, la definición había sido espectacular. Sí que es cierto que está un poquito adelantado.
However, yes, even though it was a very good bit of play there from them, there is no doubt that he was offside in this instance.
Del nuevo delantero del Mallorca, la verdad es que tiene mucha confianza puesta en él y la verdad es que le están buscando sus compañeros y ya hemos visto que garra y lucha va a poner el nuevo 7 del Mallorca.
Yes, we can definitely see though, which is very exciting for us, the excitement from that Muri is giving us. But Rayo Vallecano are on the attack. They're asking for a corner because they're saying that Jaume Costa touched the ball, but it's not being granted, so the ball goes to the goalkeeper, to Sergio Rico, who is showing his veteran quality there. It's so obvious. Yes, it really is. You can tell. I'm right in front of him. He is composed. He's serious.
La peinó de nuevo Murishi. Ese balón para Kangin Lee. Se están asociando bien con Ángel Rodríguez. El delantero a punto de perderlo hacia ahora. Más terminó haciendo falta. Podía hacer daño ahí a Bayiu, que se queda tendido sobre el césped. Pero Carlos, estamos viendo, ¿no?, que se están buscando mucho y se están asociando ese triángulo formado arriba, ¿no?, por Kangin Lee, por Ángel Rodríguez y por
So
Murici,
yes,
¿no?
that striking triangle that we've got today of Antonio Sanchez, Kangin Lee and Muri is really working, and they're working together. They're definitely communicating.
Tercer hombre, y a partir de la descarga se generan ciertos espacios, y ya hemos visto la mejor manera de contrarrestar esas dos llegadas al área del Rayo es la acción del gol anulado, y ahora el equipo ha crecido y estamos presionando bien, mucho más intensos.
Yes, it looks like we're bringing up the intensity and that we're putting some pressure on, which is exactly what we needed to do.
Que pone la cabeza ese balón para Murici, Murici que la ha terminado perdiendo, recupera el balón el Rayo Vallecano.
Rayo Vallecano ends up recovering the ball.
A ver, nosotros evidentemente que nos importa poco esto, ¿no? Pero es una pena que tengan este ambiente aquí en un partido que para ellos también es importante, ¿no? Y la verdad es que me sorprende.
It is quite unfortunate to notice this kind of aggressive environment and atmosphere that we're witnessing in the stadium, especially because it's such an important match for both teams. And Luis, your pitch side, it must be such a different atmosphere from the one we witnessed between Mallorca and Español. Yes, it's a shame, and especially because their frustration and this anger and this aggressiveness has nothing to do with us right now. So yes, and the fact that in these first 15 minutes that the team, the fans in the stadium are creating so much animosity between them, between the different fan groups. Gio passes to Murici, but unfortunately the ball escaped him and goes to the goalkeeper. Angel tried to go with it there, but that is a shame because it looked very good and very promising. So Gio is starting to come in there in the mix with those midfield passes and those central passes.
Y vamos a ver si en una de estas pues puede llegar, ¿no?, el primer tanto del encuentro que empiece a encaminar el partido. Bueno, por cierto, os he contado, ¿no?, que tenía un teléfono móvil aquí conectado en mi cabina de un aficionado del Real Mallorca que me ha pedido el favor. Bueno, ya son dos los teléfonos que tengo enchufados, ¿eh? O sea, ha venido...
So as I was saying earlier, that I had one of the Mallorca fans ask me if they could charge their phone. Well, I've got two phones now, two Mallorca fan phones. So yes, it seems there's room for everybody here. Well, as long as you don't lose your electricity there in your commentating box, I think we'll all be fine. Wow, I'm sure we'll be fine. I'm sure it's going to hold out.
Cerquita del área, pero sí que Óscar Trejo, pues evidentemente que la va a poner más o menos en zona de 3/4, bastante centradita. El Mallorca defendiendo con todo. Ahí está Óscar Trejo que la pone buscando el segundo palo, rechazó la defensa y el disparo final ahora.
So Oscar went there, shot at goal, but hit the second post. And then Guardiola tries to go on the rebound.
Saque de puerta para... Era Álvaro, perdón. Será saque de puerta para el Mallorca.
And it's going to be back to Sergio Rico.
18 minutos ya de partido, empate a 0 en el marcador. Bueno, pues la verdad es que una oportunidad para el Mallorca, aunque era fuera de juego, fue una buena jugada. De momento sin ningún sobresalto para Sergio Rico.
Así es,
so no stressful moments, particularly for Sergio Rico at the moment.
Ha habido un rato donde el Rayo ha parecido que ha dado un paso adelante, pero ha contrarrestado bien el Mallorca con la oportunidad.
Yes, it's pretty balanced right now. There was a time, a moment where it seemed that Rayo was moving forward, but Mallorca managed to counterattack that.
Recordamos que en muchos partidos de Copa ese abrir la lata lo hicimos a balón parado y hoy puede ser un buen día.
Hoy sin duda puede ser un gran día, un buen día para abrirla de esa manera. Pone la cabeza ahora Martín Vallén, del balón para Trejo, combinando aquí con Guardiola. La cabeza de Murici también asociándose con sus compañeros de ataque como Kangin Lee. Se va con Galarreta, vuelve la pelota para Kangin Lee.
Striking teammates there, Mallorca in possession.
Ball
goes right to Pablo Maffeo, who slows down slightly, waiting for the incorporation of Galarreta. Back to Antonio.
Vaya jugadita
Looking
que
for
intentaba
Gio.
Mallorca. Cómo la dejó pasar Galaxy por debajo de las piernas. Ahora con mucha calidad también se la quería llevar Santi. Hubo falta del Mallorca, a pesar de que
Well,
fue
there was a
Ángel
foul
quien
there.
parece que Luis se ha llevado a la peor parte.
Foul. Angel was the culprit there, the instigator, but he actually looks like he's come off worse, unfortunately.
Creo que es del tobillo, pero nada.
Yes, Angel seems to have a bad ankle now.
Supongo que habrá dado el golpe ahí al hacer la falta.
Sacó ya el Rayo Vallecano con Mesaña con Mario Suárez. Este combina un poquito más a la izquierda para Catena. Rodríguez, balón en largo, le pegó mal. Pero
Catena and Rodriguez in possession for Rayo. It's going to be a throw-in for them.
Jugando el conjunto madrileño por esta parte izquierda. Ahí buscaban y lo hacen bien ahora con Guardiola. Ese balón un poquito más a la izquierda para Óscar Trejo. Se lanzó con todo.
Trejo in possession for Vallecano. He's definitely looking to cause some damage here.
Ese balón que no tiene dueño, vamos a ver quién se la queda. Parece que es del Rayo, no, parece que es del Mallorca. Se la lleva ahora con velocidad.
Mallorca ends up with the ball. Pablo Maffeo tries to tear up the pitch with the ball.
Contra la barrera y cuidado que se ha podido hacer bastante daño en ese impacto.
And it looks like he's actually hurt himself as he collided with the barrier there.
Así es, ha chocado contra la barrera. El bueno de Pablo Maffeo se ha hecho daño ahí en la cintura, creo que es, en la cadera.
Yes, it seems that Pablo Maffeo has hurt himself slightly on the waist and hip area after that collision with the barrier.
Del Rayo Vallecano por esa acción en la que podía haber evitado ese último empujón que ha acabado con Pablo Maffeo estampado contra la U televisiva.
Bueno, pues se levanta ya el jugador del Mallorca. Va a sacar ahora Franco.
But he is back on his feet, luckily.
Ya espera Murishi. El 7 a la espalda.
Murishi is there ready and waiting to receive any balls that come his way.
La ventaja aquí para Dimitrievski, que ataja sin problemas.
However, the ball ends up in Dimitrievski's possession without any particular problem for him.
Y buscamos esos centros que pues hay que aprovecharlo, claro que sí.
Así es, me gusta mucho esa opción que tenemos de jugar sobre el punta más alejado. Estamos haciendo muy bien la descarga y a partir de ahí generar con centros laterales o pases finales, un juego más vertical.
We're doing very well at trying to create some vertical play at the moment. I think we're also doing very good at putting the pressure on after losing balls, which is unusual for us. And Rayo haven't had any big opportunities yet, so no complaints really. So Gio is there trying to put the pressure on. He didn't have any more space to move though.
El Rayo Vallecano, el momento 22 de partido, recuerden este empate a 0. Estos son los cuartos de final de la Copa de Su Majestad el Rey. Buscamos un pase a las semifinales de la competición. Ronda que ya va a ser a doble partido. Bueno, va a ser de hecho la única eliminatoria.
So yes, we're obviously looking for our access to the semi-final today. That is obviously the main goal.
La pone Dimitrievski. Cabeza ahora de Galarreta. Bien Gio hacia atrás para Russo. El argentino arriba buscando a Ángel, que se aprovecha de su cuerpo para
Mallorca in possession.
de Rodríguez, pero no la puede recuperar después. El balonazo del Rayo buscando ahora la velocidad de Is, intentando sorprender por arriba.
Rayo in possession once again.
Sistema defensivo del Mallorca vuelve a tener Sergio Rico. De momento,
but back to Mallorca's defense. Sergio Rico in possession now.
Porque en cualquier momento te puede llegar una oportunidad y tienes que estar ahí atento.
Of course, goalkeepers can never be complacent. They know that they have to have their eye on the ball constantly in these matches.
Parece que es el Mallorca, pero ahora se la lleva Sergio Guardiola. Le encima ahora y de qué manera.
Guardiola steals the ball, unfortunately.
Entre los dos jugadores pone un poquito de calma ahora el colegiado.
Bit of sparks there between two of the players, which had to be calmed down by the referee, but it's all good.
Y Murishi que las toca todas, ¿eh? Es una barbaridad, ¿eh?
Yes, it seems that Murishi is there to receive every single ball. He's definitely always in the mix. Yes, he's an excellent resource for the team to have, to be honest, right now.
Solo atinando, al final tienes esas situaciones de prolongación, descarga de cara, posibilidad de hacerte una falta. Bueno, pues sí, te da mucho.
Bueno, y ahora la falta peligrosa para el Rayo Vallecano, la provocó el lateral, la provocó Bayiu.
So dangerous foul now for Rayo.
Evidentemente a balón parado con un
Of course, it's going to be a free kick with such an incredible striker such as the sniper that is Trejo. So we'll see what comes of this. Everybody on their feet. Both Mallorca managers trying to give their boys some instructions to help them with this. Trejo is there. Oscar rebounded and ends up in Sergio Rico's hands. So no big issue for him there. Mallorca in possession. Antonio Sanchez and Maffeo, who passes back to Russo, controlling the ball in front of Trejo. Antonio Sanchez. Ball goes to the left to Jaume Costa. Very good. And what an opportunity there. Pablo Maffeo went for it there with everything he had. Shot a goal with what a missile. He actually even injured himself in the process. It was like a torpedo going straight in. But what a defense rebound from Rayo Vallecano. And luckily for them that he did.
Si también os lo parece, pero vaya velocidad, vaya potencia con la que ha entrado absolutamente con todo.
So we'll see obviously in the replay how quick that actually was, but from where I was sitting, that looked like an extremely powerful entrance there to the goal.
Fijo, con los dos pies paralelos y ha entrado muy bien. Sí que es cierto que se va un metro hacia arriba, pero si hubiese cogido por
Yes, unfortunately it's slightly too high up there to raised that shot, but very, very good effort from him. So now Rayo Vallecano are on the counter-attack and they're going to look to replicate what Mallorca just did. We're going to be careful here with Trejo.
La moto del Mallorca, Pablo Maffeo.
Pablo Maffeo there doing the reverse work now. Defending extremely well. We heard the shout of what a legend there from one of the Mallorca fans. Yes, I've got a Mallorca fan next to me here who seems to be incredibly involved in the match, which of course is great news for us.
Buen bucanero tenemos nosotros aquí con Luis Sebane. Bueno, jugando el Rayo Vallecano entre líneas. Recupera la moto de Pablo Maffeo. Le quiere poner a velocidad.
Pablo Maffeo recovers the ball once again.
Bueno, cuidado la falta y va a ser la primera cartulina del partido, sí.
There's a dangerous foul there, and that looks like it's definitely going to be the first yellow card of the match. So it's going to be for Santi, for the Rayo Vallecano player.
Bueno, pues Santi Comesaña con esa cartulina amarilla. Y bueno, Carlos, te quiero preguntar, no sé si ha sido más un tema ahora de estas últimas jugadas, pero veo ahora mismo más arriba a Maffeo.
So, Carlos, I wanted to ask you, it seems like Maffeo is doing more work up the top towards the striking area than Gio is actually, so it seems like they're interchanging roles at the moment, which is kind of destabilizing, I guess, for the Vallecano players.
Al final tienes muchas referencias de jugadores y de esta tampoco tienes mucha y esa variabilidad que puede tener.
Yes, of course. I mean, they will have a lot of reference and they would have done their research on Gio, but they won't have done the research in this position, which is a good news for us.
Es una variante buena y hemos visto que Maffeo llegando al área, que no suele ser habitual.
We've seen an unusual aspect of Maffeo, which is him entering the goal-scoring area, and that's extremely exciting and positive for us to see from him. And it's going to be a throw-in for Mallorca. It's nearing the half-an-hour mark now.
Sí, está viendo el partido, que claro, igual está viendo otra cosa.
No, estoy con el partido.
Ha puesto ahí
una serie. No.
Está volviendo a ver la final de Eurovisión.
No. Estoy aquí concentrado. Es verdad que es una pena lo del delay porque me pone más nervioso Dani, pero bueno, no pasa nada. Estamos aquí bien metidos.
Yeah, I have to say that having the delay on our screens here for Carlos and I is really annoying because it makes us all really nervous when you're commentating live and we've got to wait a couple of seconds, but it's we're all good here. Rayo Vallecano in possession with Catena. Dimitrievski running out of options, who sends it up, and Valjean touches it, but then Trejo steals the ball. Gio passes backwards.
He de decir que, y me lo comentaba también nuestra Cataguas, nuestra fotógrafa oficial del equipo que también ha viajado con nosotros, que dice, es que de lejos me cuesta diferenciar a Maffeo y a Gio. Y es que verdad que yo que los tengo ahora en el otro costado.
Yes, our team photographer said to me today that from a distance, it's very difficult to distinguish Pablo Maffeo from Gio. And I'm looking at them now, and yes, they're both roughly the same height. They're both blonde. They've both got the same color shoes on, and they're very quick as well, which is must be very distracting for the other team.
La verdad es que se le ven cositas, ¿eh? Y ojo este doble lateral que puede hacer mucho daño.
I think that's an asset to us, and it could be a very dangerous combination, especially seeing Gio's first minutes, which look very promising.
Ha subido Franco Russo, veo que en principio Valjean se queda atrás.
So Kangin Lee looks like he's going to take this free kick for Mallorca.
Gio precisamente quien cierre la defensa. Y vamos a ver Kangin Lee.
So we're going to see what Kangin Lee does here. Seems that he's got some a bit of turf on his spikes, so he's trying to take that off so he can do the best possible kick. So left-footed kick from Kangin Lee. Slightly too short, rebounded by the defense. Gio Gonzalez sends it back up. Mario Suarez for Rayo Vallecano appears there to try and control the ball. Galarreta recovers the ball, but there's a foul there. Fans are asking for a yellow card, but the referee is not going to give it. I guess the fans were asking for it because of the previous yellow card to Comesaña, to Santi, but it seems that the referee did not think it was as severe as the previous foul.
Ese balón atrás para Catena, Comesaña de nuevo, círculo central. Aparece Isi, juega de primeras, habilitando ahí.
Rayo in possession with Isi.
Balón un poquito largo, pero parece que va a llegar, no puede llegar ahora. Bayu, el lateral.
Rayu is there in time.
Qué bonito.
Yes, so Luis is just saying pitch side that he was nearly involved in the match there. Even destabilized the camera for a couple of seconds, but it's all under control. But no, luckily my involvement in the match didn't create any disasters, and it was extremely fleeting.
No os preocupéis que nuestro cámara Carlos va a proteger con su vida si hace falta la cámara del Real Mallorca que tiene que.
Yes, we needn't worry. We know that our cameraman Carlos is going to protect our live footage camera with his life. We're going to be fine.
Cuidado que recupera el balón el Rayo Vallecano, presionando aquí Galarreta, seguramente en falta y seguramente que
Galarreta pressurizing, he's very likely to foul, and I think there's definitely going to be a yellow card this time.
Amarilla la pedía en cada falta la afición del Rayo Vallecano, la ve en este caso Ruiz de Galarreta a los 33
Yes, so this is going to be a yellow card moment, and it's going to be for Íñigo Ruiz de Galarreta.
Para cada equipo. Vamos camino del 34. De la primera parte con
just coming up to the 34th minute of the match now.
Otra vez una falta, están conversando ahí los jugadores del Rayo, entre ellos
Rayo players, among them Trejo, who is the lead strategist for his team, exchanging some words here. We can only imagine what they will be talking about. Rodriguez is going to take the free kick for Rayo, but it was far too long, and it's just going to go straight to Sergio Rico. So a lot of talking, but not much understanding there.
Bueno, Carlos, ¿qué te está pareciendo estos últimos minutos?
So, Carlos, what's your opinion of the last couple of minutes? Well, closing off the first half, it's been a very busy first half. Obviously, the yellow card is not ideal for us. Nobody wants to have 10 men on a playoff match.
Entrar con 0-0 al descanso y con esas posibilidades que tenemos, si podemos marcar un gol y sobre todo que Luis ahí corrija ciertas cosas, a lo mejor.
So obviously we're going to have to try and score now as we come into the second half, and Luis García Plaza is going to have to make some slight modifications, change what can be improved, and keep on playing like this at the moment.
Y ahora sí, Luis, pues estoy viendo una imagen que me da frío, que me da mucho frío. Cuéntamela tú.
So we are witnessing some very unpleasant things. So Luis, tell us.
Alegría, palmas y cánticos, y es porque los aficionados de ese fondo, los bucaneros, han entrado finalmente al terreno de juego. Hay que decir que los muchachos son valientes porque, como no les dejaban entrar seguramente con insignias de bucaneros, han decidido quitarse las camisetas, han entrado todos sin camisetas.
Yes, so it's because the Buccaneer fan sector have entered the stadium, and I imagine as they were not allowed to enter with their kit on, they will have taken off their Buccaneer kit and shirts and entered that way instead, so that you can definitely hear them now. So a brave and bold choice from them. But that means that they are one layer less right now, so we'll see if that translates into a heavy cold for them tomorrow. We hope not.
Carlos, ¿tú estás bien?
Yo estoy genial.
No, Carlos calentito, os tenemos ahí bien, con aire acondicionado a tope, que no falte.
Al mister ponerle la calefacción, Eso es, espero Esteban que le hayas puesto la calefacción al mister. Cuidado que va el Rayo, Dani.
So Rayo is on the attack now. EC is in possession. Luckily the ball goes out.
De nuevo por esa parte izquierda, Carlos, en donde pues si tiene que aparecer el Rayo lo está haciendo más, ¿no? Por esa banda durante esta primera parte.
Sí, la incidencia de a lo mejor repetir un poco en derecha e ir hacia izquierda es una cosa que les gusta, o esa acción de tercer hombre con situación de desdoblamiento del lateral. Pero estamos trabajando muy bien a nivel de centros laterales. Es verdad que la incidencia de Costa es pegarse mucho a Isi, y creo que hay una altura más o menos igual, y ahí
I think Costa's tactics is to really stick to EC, and I think that's exactly what he needs to be doing right now. That's always the aim.
Cuando estaba buscando ya esa buena posición de tiro, disparó ya, pero la acción pues ya estaba invalidada. Jugando el Rayo Vallecano.
Rayo Vallecano in possession.
Acepta ahora bien a Antonio Sánchez, vuelve a intentarlo el Rayo, cuidado el rechace que le cae ahí a Sergi Guardiola, que se va hacia la derecha, se está quedando sin espacio, le persigue.
Sergi Guardiola is going to head right, but there shouldn't be a foul. Ángel Rodriguez shouldn't foul him. And eventually it ends up in Sergio Rico's possession, who throws himself down but gets there no problem.
En tu primer partido dices, por una parte estoy bien, estoy tranquilo, no tengo mucho trabajo, pero bueno, eso también.
So Carlos is very positive that the fact that in this first half Sergio Rico has barely had to do anything, which of course is comforting for him, but I'm sure he's full of this adrenaline of knowing that at any moment he's going to have to step up to the plate and really improvise and act very quickly. Yes, but you can tell that he's a very experienced goalkeeper, and he's facing all these challenges in a very, very calm and collected way. Of course, lots of people giving their opinion recently on him and saying that he's played very little in the last 2 years, but it's great for him to be able to learn from these players as well. And also, he's had shots against him from players such as Mbappe and Messi, so you know, that's hardly an easy thing to say.
No puede controlarla Ángel, que se está también desgastando, está también luchando mucho por esos balones de momento sin fortuna.
Ángel is definitely looking slightly tired now. He is battling up and down the pitch constantly.
Balón arriba, buscando a Isi, la deja pasar bien con veteranía. Jaume Costa, el balón para Martín Valle.
Jaume Costa lets the ball go past, a very veteran move there to... But then the pressure from the Rayo Vallecano players, but Mallorca counter-attack with that pressure, and Galarreta steals the ball. He's got Maffeo to his right, they're in control. Galarreta back in possession now.
Y ahora Muri le pedía, ¿no?, a Galarreta que le metiera ese balón, que le busquen un poquito más, ¿no?, en estos minutos finales. Ahora sí que parece, ¿no?, que hace un ratito que no le llegan tantos balones y nos está quejando, pero sí que está pidiendo, ¿no?, que
However, now Muri seems to be asking for some more balls because he has been slightly less active in the last couple of minutes, and he clearly wants to participate as much as he can, which is only a good thing for us.
Encima Oscar, la puede poner arriba, la ventaja ahora para la carrera ahí del delantero de Ángel. Que bien Ángel sacando ese saque de esquina, porque ya estaba Muri ahí esperando cerquita el punto de penalti para el remate. Buen balón que ha puesto ahí el Mallorca.
Very, very good work from Ángel there, and Muri was ready to receive the ball, and it's going to be a corner, but Muri was definitely there, right and ready to in that penalty position. So the first corner for Mallorca in this match.
Muy bueno. Vamos a ver el córner. Ahí está preparado Kang In Lee.
Kang In Lee is ready to take the corner with his left foot. Looking for Morishi. There's a player down. Asking for a penalty. I think it's Pablo Maffeo. The referee is saying no. However, there is a VAR and they're not afraid to use it.
Recordamos que en el VAR tenemos al árbitro del comité catalán, David Medier Jiménez, y el que se quejaba también al árbitro era
David Medier Jiménez. And Muri has also, the Catalan referee, and Muri is also complaining to the referee because he's saying that he is being grabbed by the shirt constantly.
Martín Vallen retrasa con su portero, con
Ball
Sergio Rico.
back to Martin Vallen now. Sergio Rico playing low and to the right. Franco Russo is in possession. The strikers are waiting for the ball, but Antonio Sanchez is in possession for the time being.
Tocando de primeras el Mallorca. Russo arriba de nuevo, buscando a Kang In Lee. La quería jugar de cabeza, no apareció en el momento preciso ahí Muri. Se la lleva Isi, conexión aquí con Oscar Trejo.
Isi takes the ball away. Rayo is with 4 players, they're on the attack. And Martin Valgen has caused a penalty for Rayo Vallecano there. There's going to be no doubt about it. Actually, the penalty has been caused by Franco Russo, but that was an excellent ball from Oscar Trejo there. The Trejo's pass there was fantastic. So that's already almost half a goal there, just because of that pass. Yes, there was a moment there where I think Gio could have stepped in and created a foul. But Franco Russo was slightly too fast then and throwing himself down. So of course the other player made the most of it and played with time in his favour then. So as we were saying, it was a very, very calm match for Sergio Rico, but we knew that the complicated moment could come at any time, and here it is, it's a penalty. So we'll see what happens, we'll see what he can do. So we're going to wish him the best of luck, of course. Oscar Trejo, a right-footed, and it's a goal. Very unforgiving Oscar Trejo there. So that is the first goal of the match that arrives in the 43rd minute of the match. So the first strike has come from Rayo Vallecano. So they were not deserving of it, but they did a very, very good counter-attack, and in the end, they were the lucky ones. Well, yes, now we're definitely going to have to adjust things in half-time and come out with those mistakes improved for the second half. So explosive celebrations here from the Rayo Vallecano supporters. Of course, we have to recognize that there was a clear, very clear penalty there. There was no doubt about it. And very, very expertly taken by Oscar Trejo. So that is a definitely before and after moment in this match. However, there is still a very, very long way to go in this match. So we've got to keep calm. However, anybody watching on YouTube, just to, I haven't frozen, it's just a technical issue. And the match has been stopped again by the referee because there's a foul once again. So, yes, my image has definitely frozen, guys, the same as the score has for Mallorca at the moment, unfortunately.
La afición del Rayo Vallecano, y enseguida también en el banquillo podíamos ver a jugadores como Abdón Prats, que ha salido para dar ánimos hacia aspavientos con los brazos hacia arriba para animar.
Yeah, so we can see there Abdón Prats coming out to show an immense amount of support for his teammates and try and keep morale up, which of course is extremely necessary right now.
Un poquito más de moral en este momento. Comesaña que la pierde, se la lleva Jaume Costa, eso es falta clara.
Jaume Costa steals the ball. It's a clear foul there, whistled by the referee.
Vamos a ver cuánto decide añadir, minutito, ¿no? Pero a ver.
We're going to see how much extra time the referee is going to add. Of course, we're already on 1 more minute. And as soon as the free kick was taken, then the whistle was blown to indicate the end of the first half, and we end with that 1-0 up for Rayo Vallecano because of that penalty. Of course, the players extremely annoyed. Luis García Plaza and Martin Valjean going to speak to the referee. However, as you said, everybody, after watching it back, there is no doubt about it. That should have been a penalty. So both teams going into their changing rooms. Mallorca on the right, Rayo Vallecano on the left. And I'm sure there's definitely going to be a very intense pep talk in this halftime.
Bueno, pues Esteban, todo tuyo. Terminó la primera parte 1-0, tocará remontada la segunda.
So over to you, Esteban. We're definitely going to have to come back now in this second half.
Luis Sebane, que nos están trayendo, pues, de momento esa derrota ante el Rayo Vallecano, pero bueno, yo ahora he ido rápido aquí a mirar, y es verdad, tú lo has dicho también durante la retransmisión, el gol de Eibar no sé si eran 16avos de final, llegó también en esos últimos minutos y después se acabó remontando el partido.
Yes, so just to remind you that Eibar's goal also arrived in these closing minutes of the first half, and then Luis García Plaza's halftime pep talk made the team come out much stronger in the second half. Yes, we will have to hope that that is the case, because this really was a bit of a shock and obviously a disappointing end to the first half. They've been playing very well with some very good strategies. There have been 2 goal-scoring opportunities each for each team. They've been playing well, very balanced. However, the match now is looking exactly as Rayo would want it to look.
Tenemos que estar muy
So now we'll just have to recover and try and get
para intentar empatar el partido, y ahí es donde
at least 2 goals in.
puede jugar una buena pasada a favor del Mallorca y en contra del Rayo, porque al final verse tan cerca de superar ronda, un empate puede equilibrar eso.
Yo te iba a decir, para mí ha sido una primera parte en la que han pasado poquitas cosas, ¿no?
Yes, for me it felt like a first half where not that much was actually happening.
Nada claro como tal, y al final pues te quedas un poquito con esa cara que alguna vez nos ha pasado esta temporada, ¿no?
And then something like this happens and you end up with that feeling like we've had many times this season actually,
insistiendo ahí, ¿no?
of frustration and just that now obviously we've got double the work to do because we've got to come back. Yes, it was a mistake because Franco could have got there in time. He will know that.
Pero yo pienso que lo tenía bien encimado, había llegado bien, el equipo había replegado bien y bueno, nos hemos precipitado al tirarnos al suelo y al final.
So it was definitely a precipitated action there from us, but of course that can always happen to anybody. So yes, 15 minutes for them to rest now, then 45 to try and get back and change that scoreboard. So it's been a different approach to what we're used to. It does seem that we've been doing quite well at it. Yes, I think both Galarreta and Antonio look really comfortable in the center of the pitch. So I hope Kang In Lee and Gio and Angel can get some more protection. I think Muri is comfortable doing his own thing.
Buscar otras soluciones. Seguramente con el paso de los minutos, minuto 10, minuto 15, seguramente el míster lo moverá.
I think in the second half, especially as we approach the 10th or 15th minute, Luis Garcia will make any changes he considers necessary.
En Ipurú ante el Eibar, donde el conjunto armero pues adelantó en esos últimos instantes de la primera parte, un poquito lo que nos ha pasado hoy aquí en Vallecas. 15 minutos para desconectar y enseguida pues 45 para intentar remontar y quién sabe si con prórroga, penaltis o
yes, so
de momento.
We'll be obviously keeping an eye out for those next 45 minutes and we'll be back with you very soon.
Grupo Escribano. Somos especialistas en reformas y fachadas. Financia ahora el 100% y paga en 12 meses sin intereses. Para importes desde 200 euros hasta 200.000 euros. 0% TAE. Grupo Escribano.
Llenamos de contenidos tu vuelo y tú decides disfrutarlos o soñarlos en asientos cama. Te damos acceso directo al pasillo y tú decides máxima privacidad y confort. Llevamos más alto nuestra clase business y tú decides volar con nosotros. O no. Pero un consejo. Decide llegar tan lejos como quieras en la nueva clase business. Air Europa. Tú decides.
És el meu cor malferit que demana acció.
Un amor sense barreres davant meu ha cobrat vida.
Ja aviam què passa, ja aviam què passa. No sé què passa, ni per què passa, però sempre em passa.
Pues nada, estamos aquí ya de vuelta, a punto de que arranque ya esta segunda mitad aquí en el estadio de Vallecas. Gana el
So we
conjunto
are back here,
vallecano
ready and waiting for the start of the second half. Unfortunately, with Rayo Vallecano in the lead after that 43rd minute penalty by Óscar Trejo, which came off a pretty blatant fault from Franco Russo.
Que acaba de salir del COVID, sí, imagino que es la primera pelota que toca tras 7 días de cuarentena. También vemos a Take Kubo,
We can see Take Kubo and Dani Rodriguez playing there. As we know,
esta semana con el equipo, ha llegado hoy precisamente de Japón.
Dani Rodriguez has been off because of COVID, so this was probably be the first ball that he's touched in all week.
También vemos a Hopi.
We can see Hop there as well, so there's definitely a good wardrobe full of material there for Luis Garcia to use if he thinks that that is what is necessary to turn this match around. Yes, we've got Amat, Salva Sevilla, Abdon as well. They've definitely got plenty of players to bring out. You know, we've got one penalty against us, and we showed some very good skill and some very good minutes in the first half. And I'm sure that's what Luis Garcia will be thinking. And I guess if around the 10-15 minute mark things haven't changed in the way that he was hoping, that's when he will start to produce those changes. But yes, they are only 1-0 up, and there is 45 minutes now ahead of us. And yeah, there wasn't that much happening in the first half until that moment. There were 5 shots at goal from Rayo, but there was only one case where it was on target.
La posesión es verdad que tampoco estaba siendo en zona peligrosa del equipo de Andoni Iraola.
And even though the possession shows that Rayo was 61% in possession, it wasn't in any danger zones really for Mallorca. So I guess the message that we need to expand is that it's okay and it can still be fine.
No ha podido. Ha sido mediante juego combinativo, bastante acumulación de jugadores dentro del área con centros laterales.
Yes, we've got to focus on the fact that without the penalty, they haven't been able to score yet.
En esa línea es cierto que ahora se va a tener que aproximar mucho más al área y eso le genera una oportunidad a la espalda.
However, Mallorca now have got to try and get closer and closer to the goal-scoring area all the time.
Esas vigilancias, esos equilibrios y sobre todo insistir mucho más en esas acciones de finalización. Un gol puede cambiar el partido y a partir de ahí pues puede pasar cualquier cosa.
But yes, one goal can definitely change the tack of the match, and that's what we're going to have to try and do. So we can see Amat and Abdon Prats there, both contenders to be brought on in the second half.
aquí en Vallecas fueron Amat Abdón y Salva Sevilla.
And they were two, Amat Abdón and Salva Sevilla were the 3 goal scorers in the previous season's match against Rayo Vallecano. So that could be something that will play on Luis García Plaza's mind.
Seguramente el míster no se la jugará minuto 10, minuto 15, si el partido está muy intenso, con faltas, como ha habido un rato de la primera parte que así ha sido. Y seguramente Salva es el jugador clave. Of
course, I think one of those changes may be made because of that yellow card we had in the first half, in those couple of minutes that were very intense with all these fouls and yellow cards flying around.
Y tanto él como la opción de ataque, la opción de Dani, esa insistencia, esa agresividad que tiene, pueden ser claves para intentar empatar y después remontar el partido.
Pues si te parece, Carlos, vamos a hacer una conexión con Vallecas, vamos a reengancharnos con el Estadio de Madrid. Dani Barjacoa, me decían que no te teníamos...
So we're going to reunite with Dani now in the Vallecas Stadium.
Esta segunda parte.
So we're glad to have you back with us to commentate live on the second half. Yeah, I mean, all those technical issues earlier with the image, I just wanted to rest, really, that's all. But yes, everybody charging their phones in my commentator's box eventually took its toll, and it was we had some digital issue problems. I think it was overworking.
El conjunto de Iraola, el conjunto de Luis García lo va a hacer ahora. El conjunto de Iraola, preparado ya Óscar Trejo, el autor del gol de la primera parte desde el punto de penalti, que da ventaja al Rayo para poner esta segunda parte en juego, que os voy a contar ya desde este momento. Recordemos que Mallorca tiene que remontar ese golito. Arranca en este momento.
And here we go, that is the start of the second half.
Arrancó los segundos 45 minutos. Vamos a ver si los últimos del partido... O nos vamos a la prórroga, jugando Óscar Trejo arriba, rechaza la defensa mallorquinista. No ha habido cambios, por cierto, ni en un equipo ni en otro.
So no changes to remark on at the moment in either team. We saw Abdon walking quickly towards the changing rooms, but he didn't come out with the change kit on, so we can imagine that he's not going to be brought on at the moment. But Mallorca are in possession right now. Antonio Sanchez and Kangin Lee.
Para Martin Valgen, que retrasa para su portero, para Sergio Rico.
Martin Valgen passes backwards to Sergio Rico.
Cuidado ahí el pase de Galarreta con problemas. El desvío de Russo buscando arriba a Murici. La cabeza de Catena se la queda Antonio Sánchez. Caracolea sobre el mismo. El balón para Galarreta, con Kangin Lee.
Antonio Sanchez and Galarreta passes to Kangin Lee.
Deja seguir el colegiado.
That was clearly a foul against Kangin Lee there, but it's not whistled by the referee.
Me parece que también estaba pidiendo falta, pero insisto, me ha parecido falta. Y veo ahora el gesto con la mano de Sotogrado, que le está diciendo a Kangin Lee, te has tirado. Y
yes, I can see the Rayo player gesturing towards Kangin Lee, telling him that he threw himself down. So apparently they've actually given a foul against Kangin Lee now for holding onto the ball once he did go down. And Rayo Vallecano are on the attack now. EC and Palazón in possession.
Guardiola habilitando a la derecha, nuevo para Bayiu. La pide Álvaro, el autor del penalti. Buscaba esa pared, rechazó la defensa. El balón que le cae a Murici.
Rebounded by the defense. Murici there.
Jaume Costa es, por tanto, balón para el Mallorca.
And there's a foul against Jaume Costa, which means the ball goes to Mallorca.
Bueno, de momento no vemos a ningún jugador calentando, pero no estará mucho el míster Luis García Plaza.
Yes, at the moment we can't see any of the Mallorca players warming up, but I think that Luis García Plaza will not take too long to make some modifications in today's lineup.
Claro, que había vuelto del vestuario, que decía antes que se había metido ahí como una exhalación. Bueno, buscando esa pelota ahí, Pablo Maffeo, delante de la presencia de Álvaro, y bueno, algo ha pasado ahí en el...
Pablo Maffeo there in front of Álvaro, and there's something happened on the bench.
¿Amarilla a quién?
Amarilla. Bueno, pues a alguien del banquillo, no sabemos muy bien a quién. Perdona que
And there's a yellow card for somebody on the bench there.
Absolutamente nada.
I can't see anything, because obviously everybody stood up as well. So they're talking to the fourth linesman. So yes, we don't know who it was for, but there is definitely a yellow card for somebody on the Mallorca bench. Rayo Vallecano are on the attack in the meantime. And what a save by Sergio Rico, which has kept Mallorca in the match. So as we were saying, he hadn't had to intervene barely at all until the 43rd minute of the match, and now what a save from him then.
Pero vaya reacción ese disparo a bocajarro, vuelve a insistir el Rayo Vallecano, lo contamos y enseguida analizamos esa parada de Sergio Rico que, como digo,
so Rayo Vallecano are on the attack once again, but as soon as it calms down we'll go back to analyze that amazing save there by Sergio Rico.
¿Qué os ha parecido?
Muy buena combinación de izquierda a derecha y derecha a izquierda, y a partir de ahí buen centro.
Excellent left-right combination there from Sergio Rico. Great save.
Después de la parada, porque ha habido un jugador del Rayo que estaba al rechace y el equipo ha defendido bien.
However, we've got to be careful with what happened after the save, because there was a Rayo player ready and waiting to intercept that ball then.
Mueve ficha Dani, manda a calentar a tres jugadores, son Dani Rodríguez, Salva Sevilla y Matthew Hop, los tres jugadores que calientan en este momento.
So Dani Rodriguez, Salva Sevilla and Matthew Hop are going to start to warm up for Mallorca now. So this is Luis García Plaza's first movements for the team.
Han estado atentos, Maffei y compañía ahí dentro del área, porque evidentemente si ese balón lo encuentra un jugador del Rayo, pues era complicado, ¿no?, que Sergio Rico también la parara.
Así es una situación clara de gol, el rechace, pierdes la marca y hubiese sido una jugada a placer. Estamos ahí metidos, es verdad que hemos salido bien, pero esta última ocasión nos ha desvirtuado un poco la salida, porque el equipo había salido bien y ahora es cuando a lo mejor Luis verá cositas para intentar ajustar mejor a nivel ofensivo y tener esas situaciones que no tener empate.
Ese disparo de Pablo Maffeo con la pierna izquierda, su pierna que no era la buena, después de esa falta que había sacado
left-footed shot there from Pablo Maffeo. That's not his good foot, as we know, of course.
Que bueno, también tiene jugadores, Carlos, de calidad, ¿no?, de refresco, como SIGUE.
There's some movement on the Rayo Vallecano's bench as well, and we have to say they've got some excellent players on the bench in reserve today. And there's a yellow card for a Mallorca player.
Segunda cartulina amarilla para un miembro del equipo visitante, la B, en este caso Antonio Sánchez.
Yes, second one for Mallorca today. This time it's for Antonio Sánchez.
Paró esa contra, le cayó la tarjeta, conversando aquí con el colegiado, ¿no?, el jugador del Real Mallorca, pero esa amarilla ya no sé.
So the player went straight up to talk to the referee, but there's no going back on that yellow card, that is for sure.
La verdad, Carlos, no sé si te ha sorprendido, pero ha empezado muy intenso, ¿no?, el partido, esta segunda parte, sobre todo también por parte del Rayo, ¿no? Que no parece, ¿no?
So a very intense start to the second half, both on Mallorca's behalf and Rayo's behalf. However, maybe their recklessness and their intensity can give us some gaps to play through.
Difícil de superar esas líneas porque constantemente paran el juego.
Yes, well, we know that they're very intense, very aggressive. It's difficult to get through because they constantly stop the play because of a foul or a free kick or whatever.
Un gol te mete de lleno en la eliminatoria y la cosa cambia.
Bueno, es que recordemos, ¿no, Esteban?, que el Mallorca ya remontó en Ipurúa, ¿no?, un rival de segunda división, pero diría que empezó perdiendo también ahí.
Sí, en el 45.
So we do know that when we played against the second division team in the King's Cup, we did also come back from 1-0 down. So we need to keep that in mind and trust the process and trust that we are able to come back from this.
Pero acabo de volver a ver la parada repetida de Sergio Rico y madre mía. Luego Russo desde el suelo saca muy bien la pelota. El Mallorca que tiene que dar un pasito hacia adelante.
So Mallorca needs to try and take a step forward now.
Buscaba ese balón Óscar Trejo, se lamentaba el argentino, pero había falta a favor del Real Mallorca. Minuto 53 de juego, 1-0. Gana el conjunto local, gana el Rayo Vallecano. Sacará Martín Ballén con Antonio Sánchez. Ese balón
So Martin Balgent and Antonio Sanchez in possession, looking for Kangin Lee. Passes backwards to Jaume Costa and it's back to the start.
Franco Russo. El argentino en cortito para Galarreta, también de primeras, toca de primeras de nuevo.
Short pass to Galarreta.
Recupera Isi Palazón.
A mistake there, which means that Palazón recovers for Rayo Vallecano.
Ahora en uno y otro equipo.
Quite imprecise now from both teams, but the ball goes back to Mallorca because of a mistake from a Rayo player. We can see a conversation there between Pedro Rostoy and Luis García Plaza sat down. Lots of tension, lots of atmosphere on the Mallorca bench, of course. Sergio Rico takes a long kick out. Angel receives the ball, and let's see if we can do the counter-attack. But no, Rayo takes the ball and are in possession. Palazón in possession.
Atrás para Mario Suárez, este con Catena. Se ofrece nuevo Trejo, multiplicándose también ahí en el fútbol de creación de su equipo. La falta de Antonio Sánchez, claro, es que tenía que evitar la falta o que Trejo se le había quedado con las manos. Y pitó la falta, claro, de Antonio. Juega Catena con Oscar.
Ya un doble o triple cambio en el Mallorca, Dani.
Cuéntamelo, Sebane.
Sí, todo parece que será un triple cambio el que va a meter Luis García Plaza, los tres jugadores que estaban calentando. Cuidado con el Rayo.
Careful with Rayo here. Palazón shooting towards goal there. Luckily, it was off target. It was close, but slightly too far right. And yes, there's going to be the triple change from Luis García Plaza here. So Dani Rodriguez, Salva Sevilla and Matthew Hop are going to come on.
Y Matthew Hop, que lucirá ahora el número 11.
Bueno, y cuidado, cuidado que Gio está gritando, Cuidado que Gio está gritando, se ha llevado ahí un golpe.
We must be careful because Gio has taken a knock there and he's actually at the moment screaming in pain on the ground.
De Gio ha salido rapidísimamente, ¿no? El médico y vamos a ver, ¿no, Luis, qué es lo que...
So the medics have sprinted onto the pitch to see if they can help him.
Me ha asustado, ahora se levanta y...
Un codazo, un codazo.
Yes, it looks like he took a bit of an elbow there. An elbow to the neck, in fact, to his Adam's apple. But he seems like he is getting up and that he is fine and he's able to go on. So Angel Rodriguez is coming off in favor of Dani Rodriguez. Gio Gonzalez is coming off in favor of Matthew Hop and Salva Sevilla, and Galarreta comes off too.
Bien, me parece bien. Yo creo que Dani jugará en banda izquierda, Salva por Galarreta posición por posición, Hope arriba con Murisi y seguramente Canili pasará a banda derecha.
Yes, I think Kangin Lee will probably work more on the right wing now, and Hop will focus on the top with Murishi. I think that's quite a good decision.
Mucha intensidad, mucha fuerza, mucha incidencia en presión. Y bueno, y una doble punta con Hope, dos jugadores grandecitos, dos jugadores para jugar bien a tercer hombre, la ilusión de Hope pues, de tener unos buenos minutos y
I think obviously we're all excited to see hopefully some good minutes from Hope as well. Hopefully it's the day for him. And it is true that since the second half started, we've barely been in their goal-scoring area. So now it's time for us to show that we can do that.
Buena circulación del equipo, apareció Antonio Sánchez para retrasar y ese balón que termina de nuevo en Sergio Rico, no encontró el agujero ahí. La sala de máquinas mallorquinista. Rico que la pone arriba, buscando La cabeza de Jaume Costa, lo hizo bien, no llega pero Murici, se la queda Mario Suárez, retrasa para su lateral, balón arriba. La cabeza ahora de Martin Balgin, la tiene Russo en cortito para Salva Sevilla. Venga, tienen que empezar a aparecer.
Short pass from Russo to Salva Sevilla. Mallorca's in possession.
Pone la cabeza ahora Rodríguez.
Rodríguez is there.
Buen balón ahora de nuevo. Pegadito a la banda, la perdió ahora Álvaro García. Recupera el Mallorca, cuidado que se lleva un manotazo.
Mallorca recovers the ball.
Le dice Salva Sevilla que se levante rápido si puede.
Franco Russo is down. Salva Sevilla asks him to get up as soon as possible if he can, and the ball goes to Mallorca.
Ahí está Russo, ese balón que impacta en el cuerpo de Trejo. Vuelve a pegarle, pedía distancia el jugador Murici, que juega bien con la cabeza. Lástima ese balón que se le queda atrás a Matthew Hopi. El choque de Pablo Maffeo, que se lleva ahí un golpe también en las costillas. Recupera el Rayo Vallecano. Buena la ayuda defensiva y de Canguilí jugando para Salva Sevilla. Mucha intensidad la que se está poniendo ahora en el partido.
Lots of intensity there. Salva Sevilla in possession. Dani Rodríguez doing very well. He's going to try and shoot at goal, but he passes right to Canguilí and goes into the goalkeeper's hands.
Bueno, pues aparece Salva, aparece Dani, aparece Kangin. Esto es otra cosa, Carlos.
So Canguilí, Dani Rodríguez and Salva Sevilla all in the mix. So this looks like it's another story now. Yes, of course they're coming on hungry for success, which can only be a good thing for us.
Reacción muy buena por parte del míster con los cambios y vamos a ver si tenemos más incidencia y nos llega el empate.
Bueno, la buscaba el Rayo Vallecano, no llegó Isi, afortunadamente rechazó la defensa, la disputa Salva Sevilla, bien Salva el de Berja, jugando con Dani, el Tigre que está fresco, el Tigre que tiene ganas, lo dejaron enjaulado y ahora
so
está
Dani Rodríguez once again in possession, doing very, very well, passes left to Jaume Costa. Muri was on the attack then, but unfortunately was rebounded and it went out. But yes, as we say again, with Dani Rodríguez back in the play, this looks like a whole other story. Yes, we need to make the most of these strong minutes now for sure. That is imperative.
Prepara también cambios el Rayo, luego lo comentamos, pero de momento nos centramos en el partido porque estamos ya en el 60 de juego. Calienta ataque Kubo. Otro jugador que también podría revolucionar el partido y que Esteban además viene con poquitos minutos, ¿no? Con su selección y por tanto está fresco. Espera, ahora me lo cuentas. Cuidado, Álvaro, que se la quiere llevar el túnel sobre Jaume Costa dentro del área. Cuidado, peligro ese centro.
So Álvaro is there, tries to shoot a goal for Rayo Vallecano, and it ends up in a corner for Rayo Vallecano.
Segundo del partido, el cuarto.
So I think that is going to be the fourth corner of the match for Rayo Vallecano.
Nuestros compañeros en esa parte derecha de nuestra pantalla. Vamos al córner, se va hacia allí Óscar Trejo. Quiere taponar la corta Canguilí. El Mallorca que defiende con todo el mundo dentro del área. Vamos a ver, ahí está Trejo, el córner buscando el balcón del área pequeña. Buscaba el remate Mario Suárez.
So Trejo was looking for a space there to get through, but they're still in possession. Luckily Maffeo ends with his chest. Dribbling by Comisano. And eventually shoots at goal, but it goes over the crossbar. There was an opportunity there for Mario Suárez, but luckily he was off target.
A medida que avancen los minutos, pues el partido también se va a volver un poquito más loco.
Así es, además al Mallorca en un momento determinado ya le puede interesar. Es verdad que estamos en la segunda quincena de la segunda parte, pero al final el partido abierto va a ir alargándose en minutos finales y al final esas posibilidades que tiene el Mallorca también son las de agarrarse a este partido loco que te puede dar la oportunidad de empatar el partido.
Of course, at the end of the day, these crazy moments and opportunities that are going to arise now in the last half an hour of this match is exactly what Mallorca needs to hang on to for dear life and try and get that equaliser in there, which they need so desperately. So Unai, Lopez and Musilla are coming on for Rayo Vallecano as Guardiola and Santi are coming off.
Quiere poner el centro directamente a las manos de Sergio Rico. Refresca un poquito también a su equipo. Andoni Iraola, mister.
So yes, Rayo Vallecano getting 2 breaths of fresh air as well, obviously reacting to the changes made by Luis García Plaza.
Y refresca un poco la zona de arriba. Mamadou es un jugador grande, con posibilidad de jugar sobre él directo y descargar y salir a la contra.
Yes, a very intelligent move bringing on Mamadou, because he is a very big, large, physical player who is going to create a lot of presence up in his position.
El Rayo en este mercado de invierno, Silla, que viene del Alavés, había tenido no mucha participación con el conjunto de ahí. Y nada, a ver cómo le van las cosas aquí en Rayo. Esperemos que hoy no le vayan muy bien al también del Girona. Pero decías, Dani, también Take Kubo, que puede tener la oportunidad. Solo 17 minutitos ha jugado más o menos con Japón en el primer partido contra China. El otro día contra Arabia Saudí no jugó ningún minuto. Y bueno, vemos ahí al japonés. A ver
Yeah, so hopefully Take will be brought on now and he can make a difference too. He didn't play any minutes against Saudi Arabia the other day. He played 17 minutes in the match against China. So hopefully he's not too tired, not too worn out, and he can come on and work his magic.
Creo que es Mario Suárez, continúa la acción, rechazará ahora Franco Russo, a ver a la contra, salva Sevilla, la ventaja aquí para el Rayo será saque de banda, quiere hacerlo rápido ahora el jugador del Real Mallorca, espera y le dice no, que sea Jaume Costa quien ponga el balón en juego. La tiene ya
So Jaume Costa is going to take this kick for Mallorca, passes to Salva Sevilla, back to Martin Valgent.
Balón arriba buscando a Murici. Toca de primeras.
The ball goes up looking for Murici. Dani Rodriguez, ball tearing down the pitch. Leaves it for Salva Sevilla. Passes left. Murici, but rebounded by the defense. And Rayo Vallecano go off on the counter-attack.
Se cruza ahora Antonio para recuperar, jugar aquí con Salva Sevilla. Franco Russo quería decir. Pablo Maffeo, el control con el pecho de Antonio Sánchez en el círculo central. El Rayo ahora sí que se cierra atrás. Russo en cortito para Sevilla.
So short pass to Sevilla for Mallorca. Dani Rodriguez is there, waiting for the best option. They pass back to Russo, pass to Valgent. Sergio Rico has the ball now, sends it out looking for Maffeo, but Rodriguez from Rayo gets in the middle. Russo cuts Alvaro off. Maffeo passes backwards and he receives a bit of a knock there. There's a foul whistled by the referee. Yes, after that very vertical play from both teams in the last couple of minutes, we've now had a couple of minutes after those changes with a bit more of a calmer match. The rhythm has slowed slightly.
20 minutos y creo que la entrada de Amat y la entrada de Take pueden darnos mucho.
Vamos a ver pues cuando llegan, ahí está Dani Rodríguez, se equivoca ahora, queda ese balón corto, sale rápido a la contra el Rayo Vallecano, afortunadamente.
Rayo Vallecano go out very quickly on the counter-attack, but luckily Dani Rodriguez was there to intercept from Silla, and Mallorca is in possession. We are 13 minutes away from the 90th minute, full time.
Ahí está Unai que la pone arriba con Silla, está encarando ya.
Unai for Rayo Vallecano sends it upwards with Silla.
Le pegó en el pie a Franco Russo. Conversa Sergio Rico con sus centrales.
And after a touch on Franco Russo's foot, it is going to be another corner for Rayo.
A saque de esquina.
So it's once again a corner, the 6th of the match for Rayo Vallecano. Lots of support from the stadium for them, of course. Luckily, Salva Sevilla rebounds and defends very well on that corner. There was definitely a foul there against Salva Sevilla. Salva Sevilla tried to take the free kick very, very quickly, but the referee was not looking.
Y ahora saca Salva Sevilla, le dice que Trejo estaba delante, Salva que la envía directamente a saque de banda y será balón para el Rayo Vallecano.
Salva is going to send this to the to a throw-in, and it's going to be the ball for Rayo Vallecano.
Lo hace ahora Rodríguez con Óscar Valentín, mano a la derecha para la incorporación de Bayiu. El lateral con Isi Palazón, patinó el jugador del Rayo, pero pudo recuperarse a tiempo. Presiona por aquí Hopi y sí que toca de primeras.
Hop putting the pressure on at the top.
Bien la anticipación de Russo, bien Murici, bien Salva, bien Hopi.
Very well anticipated work from Russo there.
Que fuera el jugador que le cayó el balón porque evidentemente pues venía ya muy forzado, ¿no? Ahora saltaron chispas ahí entre Kangin Lee y el jugador del Rayo Vallecano, pero quien la tiene es
Sparks between Kangin Lee and the Rayo.
Ahora el central eslovaco se la quita de encima. Ese balón que llega para Murici, que juega bien habilitando.
But Murici is in possession now. Passes to Dani Rodriguez. Salva Sevilla appears. Very intense portion of the match now. They're looking for Hop, but Mario Suarez was there quickly and they recover the ball.
Sí, hemos tenido un par de situaciones ahí que hemos podido tirar una contra, pero no hemos estado precisos. A lo mejor.
Yes, we had a couple of opportunities there, but we could have gone on the counter-attack, but we weren't quite in the right position.
Por esa verticalidad y esa pausa que le puede dar, ese pase final, vemos a Muri que está bastante cansado, a lo mejor su primer partido, y ahí con una opción.
Muri obviously looks quite tired. It is his first match with the team.
Para estas acciones que podamos tener, definir y poder empatar.
Bueno, ¿cómo lo estás viendo por ahí abajo, Luis Sebane? Van pasando los minutos, quedan 20.
So Luis, what's your verdict from pitch side?
Así es, máxima tensión ahí en el banquillo del Mallorca, intercambian ideas Luis García Plaza con Pedro Rostoy.
Yes, maximum intensity exchanges of ideas there between Luis García Plaza and Pedro Rostoy.
Bueno, pues será saque de banda para el Rayo Vallecano. Un poquito más atrás le dice el colegiado, no, será falta finalmente, le había tocado con la mano el jugador del Mallorca. La va a poner Rodríguez, ahora no tiene prisa, juega por abajo buscando.
Rodríguez for Rayo Vallecano is going to take this throw in. Obviously he has absolutely no rush. They're trying to waste time as much as possible now.
Jugando hacia atrás, se llevó la falta, dejó seguir el colegiado con poquita ventaja ahí para Dani Rodríguez. La vuelve a recuperar el Rayo Vallecano.
Advantage to Dani Rodriguez, but Rayo Vallecano managed to steal it back.
Que le pega y ese balón que afortunadamente impacta, yo creo que incluso en silla. Aparece nuevo Antonio Sánchez, el balón en cortito para Dani Rodríguez.
It was a shot towards goal, but it was rebounded. It touched one of the Rayo Vallecano's players, and there was another counter-attack there, but that is a foul and a yellow card. Oscar gets the yellow card for Rayo Vallecano this time.
Sí, no, sería cuestión de quedarnos con uno menos. Que evidentemente esto todavía complicaría un poquito más la remontada para el Mallorca.
Of course, we have to be careful too. The last thing we would want would be to be left with 10 players in this crucial moment of the match. So Franco Russo needs to tone down his protesting against the referee decisions. Jaume Costa and Dani Rodriguez are in possession, but the ball is recovered by Rayo Vallecano with Mario Suarez.
La disputa de Silla con Valgent, el balón que le cae a Franco Russo.
Silla versus Valgent at the moment, and the ball reaches Russo.
Jugando aquí entre líneas con Antonio, con Salva, bien balón ahora.
Russo and Antonio and Salva Sevilla in possession. Pass to Rodriguez.
Costa, de nuevo Salva, a la derecha a la espera.
Costa and Salva Sevilla.
La controla, pone la moto en marcha.
Good ball for Maffeo right now. He's got 2 players on him right now.
Rechazó el Rayo, rechazó ahora Catena, banda para el Mallorca, Luis Sebane.
And it's a throw-in for Mallorca, and I think we're going to make the changes now.
Así es, perdona Dani que me caliento. Sí, cambio en el Mallorca, se retira Antonio Sánchez del terreno de juego, ingresa...
Yes, so Antonio Sánchez is off. Rodrigo Battaglia comes on in his place.
Y no sé, ¿qué esperaban? ¿A que vuelva ese balón que ha ido al segundo anillo del campo?
Tendrás que ponerte tú, Luis, si quieres ahí que le llegue un balón. El remate ahí de Hopi. Flojito, 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 directamente a las manos de... a los pies, en este caso.
So a bit of a rebound there from Hop, but it was slightly weak. Goes straight into the Rayo Vallecano goalkeeper's hands. No trouble for him there.
Le dice que se levante. El árbitro le dice que es él el que puede gestionar los tiempos del partido. Bueno, ¿qué te parece el cambio, Carlos? Refrescar un poquito también esa zona, ¿no?
So Carlos, what do you think of those changes? Bit of a refresher, I guess.
Ferran ahí a tratarle ya y seguramente, bueno, es un cambio condicionado, pero se presenta una oportunidad.
Well, it's just a change that has conditions, of course.
Y nos puede generar ahí una ayuda ofensiva para intentar
But I think
todos queremos.
Rodrigo can create some offensive help that could create that goal scoring opportunity that we're all hoping for. Well, there is 16 minutes still left to go, plus whatever extra time is adding. If we manage to equalize, that would mean 30 minutes more. Ball goes to Sergio Rico, who has to ask the ball collector to pass him the ball, as the ball went out way too far for him to go and get it. We can see images of Take warming up on the sidelines. Murishi tries to get there, but he does not. He looks pretty tired by now. Kangin Lee, foul against him there. Salva Sevilla tries to take the throw in, but the ball was still in movement, and the referee tells him to repeat that.
Sí, así es. Va ataque, será el quinto y último cambio en estos 90. Después hay prórroga, creo que se puede meter un cambio más.
Ahora el míster tiene doble opción.
So yes, we can see Take there getting ready. He is going to be the fifth and final change of this match. As far as we know, in the 90 minutes of official time, that is the last possible change. If it went to extra time, then there is one more possible change to make. The maximum is 6. It was counter-attack there from Rayo Vallecano, but luckily they encountered Pablo Maffeo's defensive leg there.
Pues no espera, lo mete ya. Luis Sebane llega el cambio.
And here comes the change, Luis.
Quinto cambio en las filas del Mallorca. Se retira Kangin Lee del terreno de juego, ingresa en su lugar.
Yes, so Kangin Lee is coming off, and in his place, Take Kubo.
Quedando 15 minutos a lo mejor había un cambio de sistema, una defensa de 3, dejar a los dos puntas y meter.
Yes, I was wondering whether there'd be a change in system for the last 15 minutes, but Luis García Plaza has decided on this change instead. We'll see if that can create the damage and the modifications that the team needs.
Por encima del travesaño y Sergio Rico, que tiene que ir cada vez, Luis Sebane, efectivamente, a buscar él el balón al recoge pelotas. Tremendo, tremendo.
Así es tremendo el tema de los balones y los recoge pelotas. Veremos si luego el árbitro añade lo que tiene que añadir.
Bueno, yo no sé, ahora lo cuento, y falta, levantó mucho la pierna al jugador del Real Mallorca. Yo no sé si es lo que han dicho ahora, no por megafonía, porque aquí dentro de la cabina no aprecio a escucharle, pero claro, han lanzado pues esas papelinas, ¿no? Digamos, desde el fondo, que están dentro de la portería de Sergio Rico.
So I'm just waiting to see what they're saying on the megaphone, but seems that there's been some pieces of paper, some decoration thrown from the back of the stands that have landed into Sergio Rico's goal, which of course shouldn't be allowed because that could definitely distract and hinder the performance of our goalkeeper. Yes, interesting choice of decoration, but they do seem to be throwing those toilet rolls into the goal. And there's a foul here and a yellow card. Yellow card for Óscar Trejo, Rayo Vallecano's captain.
Esto en Argentina también es amarilla, ¿no, Luis?
Sí, sí.
Bueno, 12 para el final, ante River. Sí, lo sé, con mucho cariño, claro que sí. La gente que no nos conozca se cree que nos enfadamos, solo faltaría. Hay que ponerle un poquito de humor a esto, claro que sí. Bueno, y llega el doble cambio y la ovación para el hombre del partido.
Sí, señor.
So there's a double change here for Rayo Vallecano and a standing ovation for the players. Óscar Trejo, captain, is coming off.
Y el otro también en abandonar el terreno de juego es el número 18, Álvaro.
And Álvaro is also coming off.
Como la gente de Corea, el nombre de Óscar Trejo, autor del gol en el día de hoy. Entra al terreno de juego Patty Sis con el número 21.
So Patty Sis with number 21 is coming on.
El otro me falta por confirmar porque de aquí no soy capaz. Enteca, con el número 9, Enteca.
And Enteca with number 9 shirt is coming on too. So standing ovation for both players from the fans there.
Y Óscar Trejo, ¿no? El autor de ese gol de penalti, efectivamente, que pone de momento en ventaja a su equipo cuando entramos ya en los últimos 10 minutos de partido. Con Taque Kubo, que de momento no ha podido tocar ningún balón. Y jugando ahora Salva Sevilla. Con Dani Rodríguez, que se gira. Juega bien con Murici, buena pared ahí para Dani. Buen balón para Dani Rodríguez, la deja para Jaume Costa. Viene el
centro. So good ball for Dani Rodríguez there.
Pone la cabeza y ese balón que se marcha por encima del travesaño. Se desespera Murici porque le ganó la partida a Dimitri.
Desperate there, despairing, because that was an excellent shot on goal on target and just went over the crossbar, unfortunately.
Tiene todas las de ganar porque sale con los puños. Ahora Salva Sevilla, que le dice al colegiado.
The goalkeeper had come out of the goal and was ready to hit that with his fists, but still Muri did extremely well there, but unfortunately slightly too high.
Ha sido una buena combinación por banda izquierda, el centro y la salida no ha sido muy buena por parte del portero del Rayo y al final ha sido por un pelo, una lástima, pero bueno, entramos en la fase decisiva. A ver si aparece un poquito más.
Yes, a massive shame there, but luckily it looks like we're coming into a very decisive moment of the match and that we're doing better every time.
Va a dar bastante incertidumbre porque ha fallado la defensa y bueno, y entramos en una fase donde es importante a lo mejor cambiar el plan, buscar un juego más directo, más centro lateral y buscar estas situaciones de duda de la defensa rival con el componente emocional de los últimos minutos para intentar empatar.
Bueno, pues partido parado porque están atendiendo, claro, al portero, a Dimitrievski, que se ha llevado, yo creo que más que el golpe, el susto, cuando ha visto el pájaro que se le venía encima y el remate, ¿no? Que por muy poquito no ha entrado.
No tiene nada, claro. Dani. Está rascando, arañando segundos al reloj, al cronómetro, como es normal también, aunque ahora nos moleste, ¿no? Y querramos que el partido continúe. Pero yo creo que el árbitro lo tendrá en cuenta y al final acabará añadiendo también. Entraban al trote cochinero, los servicios médicos del Rayo.
Yes, so definitely as the Rayo medics came on to tend to one of their players, we could say that they trotted onto the pitch. They're definitely aware that they have all the time in the world to do this and they're going to try and waste as much time as they can. So Dimitrievski, who is magically fully recovered all of a sudden, kicks it out. Jaume Costa sends the ball up looking for Murici. So they open the ball up to the side with Pablo Maffeo. Bit of a misunderstanding with Hoppy there.
Y otro jugador del Rayo sobre el césped. Bueno, y ahora ya sabemos, vuelve a parar el partido el colegiado. Ahora se queja de de un posible manotazo, pide un poquito de calma al cuarto árbitro y
another stop, another pause in the match here, saying that he's received a collision with somebody's hand or arm. Obviously, more tactics to waste time, but it ends up in a throw-in for Mallorca.
Alguna más para intentar empatar este partido. Maffeo arriba buscando.
But we definitely need another opportunity here to be able to try and at least to equalize.
La pita el colegiado, se desespera Luis García, otra oportunidad que se escapa. 83 de encuentro. Carlos tiene que llegar.
Así es importante no entrar en el juego de ellos. Al final ellos, un equipo experto, veterano, que vienen de segunda división, saben a qué juegan y estos 10 minutos para intentar que no se juega nada. Entonces ahí esa paciencia, ese control de emociones también nuestro que nos dé para generar el mayor número de situaciones de área posibles para intentar, intentar empatar y que nos vayamos a la prórroga.
Of course, now I've got to try and get possession into our goal-scoring area and then control those situations to make those goal-scoring opportunities. A goal right now would simply create a whole new match for us. 3 players down now. Yellow card, which looks like it might go to Franco Russo.
El que ve la cartulina amarilla, tercer jugador amonestado en el conjunto de Luis García.
Yes, and it is Franco Russo who gets the yellow card. Third Mallorca player with the yellow card today. Of course, Rayo Vallecano wanting to wait all the time in the world, asking for their medical assistance now.
Estas introducciones pues juegan en nuestra contra, pero a mí tampoco me gustaría que mi equipo hiciera esto. Lo digo siempre, ganemos o perdemos o empatamos.
Of course, even though now these time-wasting tactics are obviously going against us, even if we were in the lead, I don't like it when the other team tries to waste time in this manner. All this stopping and starting makes the match lose a lot of its excitement, in my opinion.
Ha salido faltando 15 y han pasado 10 minutos y no ha pasado nada. Al final ellos están haciendo el papel de esos 15 últimos minutos de exagerar un poco más de la cuenta y
of course they're doing a great job in these last minutes, especially since Take has come on, of wasting time. And that's been their objective, and that's exactly what they've tried to do.
Ahí lo has dicho tú, causa perdida, sin duda. Bueno, ahora evidentemente que en Teca, ¿no? Pues le han tenido que atender y entiendo que esto es lo
so in Teca obviously asking for medical assistance now, and obviously if he does need that much medical assistance, then the obvious solution is for him to move to one side. But yes, because after all this medical assistance, we should be looking at around 8 to 10 minutes of extra time by now.
Vamos a bajar un poquito el listón y vamos a descontar menos. Cuidado la falta, vamos a ver. Creo que Rodríguez se le puede pegar con pierna izquierda ese balón que se marcha por encima del travesaño. Y es por tanto saque de puerta para el Mallorca. Y Sergio Rico que ya se conoce.
Sergio Rico in possession now, able to do whatever he can with the ball.
Bueno, estamos a todo esto en el minuto 86 y un balón. Y ahora sí, Luis, ahora sí que entran los balones.
Sí, ahora sí, cuando no aparecían, parecía que no había recoge pelotas, ahora sí empiezan a aparecer y ahora es el árbitro el que va a hablar con el delegado de campo, pero esto también consume tiempo. Esperemos que luego, como decía el
so obviously now Sergio Rico is being passed the balls that he needs, but the referee seems to be talking to the delegates on the pitch. Hopefully we're going to get extra time added that reflects all this stopping and starting and all these interruptions to the match.
Y ahora los miembros de seguridad que también toman un poco posiciones, ¿no? En esa zona del campo de están los bucaneros y donde ese balón ha saltado al césped. Bueno, la pone Sergio Rico. Vamos a ver si hay tiempo de tener alguna oportunidad. Cabecea Bataglia, le cae a Murici. Murici que abre bien a la derecha.
So Murici in possession.
Ahí está con la moto en marcha. Se viene Maffeo hacia el centro. La quiere poner para Hopi. Ese balón que se le escapa.
Passes to Hopi, but misses the ball. But Maffeo is there, ready to help. Attacking Kubo and Hopi. They're not there in time. Murishi is not there in time. Passes the ball backwards to Jaume Costa. Hopi goes for the rebound, but is slightly off target with his header there. Another change for Rayo Vallecano. Fifth change for them in the match. Isi is coming off and Bebe is coming on. Of course, Isi has not a care in the world. He's got all the time in the world to exit the pitch.
El Mallorca, que también agotó sus cambios en el tiempo reglamentario, sacará de puerta Dimitrievski. Lo hace en cortito para
Dimitrievski is going to take his kick.
Buscando aquí a Enteca, que se marcha de Jaume Costa.
Rayo Vallecano in possession, looking for Enteca. Unai Lopez in possession for Rayo Vallecano.
Buscando arriba. La velocidad por esta banda derecha de Bayu, que pone el centro, buscando aquí a Bebe. El primer balón que tocaba, rechaza ataque Kubo, pero vuelve a aparecer Bebe. El brasileño aquí encarado con Maffeo. Bien la ayuda de Take Kubo. Juega Maffeo aquí con Hopi. Hopi que le vuelve a dar.
Maffeo and Hop in possession.
Vaya choque de trenes.
Massive collision there. Clear foul by Patesis there. Salva Sevilla desperately trying to go and take the kick there quickly, but the referee tells him that it needs to be further back. So we're obviously eager to see how much extra time we're getting, because we're practically full time now. Franco Russo in possession, looking for Murishi. Salva in possession with Jaume Costa. Murishi tries to pass it to Hop there, who was not placed particularly well to receive that, unfortunately. So let's see how much extra time we are getting. So 7 minutes of extra time added. We were hoping for between 8 and 10, but in the end we are only getting 7.
Y yo creo que hay que intentar generar muchas más situaciones de estas. Si se pueden 3, mejor que 2, y ahí podemos tenerla.
Bueno, y ahora amarilla para 2 jugadores del Mallorca. Y cuidadito.
Yellow card for 2 Mallorca players now. We've got to be very careful that we don't get any more. Pablo Maffeo is getting one, and Martin Valgen is getting one for protesting against it. Muri goes up to Rayo Vallecano player Rodriguez and asks him to get up and stop wasting time.
Carlos, te lo digo, si hay tiempo para una, yo ya me conformo,
But yes, Carlos, I think definitely if there's time for one equalizer, then we've got to be more than happy with that in these last couple of minutes.
Y puede ser que dé uno más en el 98 si a lo mejor esto se alarga, pero poco más. Al final vamos a buscar esa primera ocasión, y si no se nos da, pues buscar esa segunda.
Porque en juego están nada más y nada menos que las semifinales de la Copa del Rey.
Obviously, the King's Cup semi-final is what is to play for right now. Mallorca desperately trying to equalize, of course. Rayo Vallecano looking for a corner. Pablo Maffeo has the advantage, but he touches it with his arm, so it's going to be a foul in favor of Rayo Vallecano. He tried to get there with his chest instead, but it was a handball eventually. Bebe is going to take this free kick for Rayo.
El Mallorca deja arriba a Dani Rodríguez. Ahí va Bebe, que le podría pegar directo. Ahí está buscando el remate. Sergio Rico.
Bebe is looking for the rebound, but well saved for Sergio Rico, who hits it with his fists. And then another rebound kick from Unai Lopez, but luckily is slightly off target.
Está completando un gran partido, ¿no? Porque no ha podido hacer nada en el penalti y ha salvado 2 o 3, la verdad que muy buenas.
And we have to commend Sergio Rico in his performance today. Unfortunately, was not able to stop the penalty, but since then he's had several dangerous shots that he was perfectly able to stop.
Bueno, y otro balón que había entrado sobre el césped, Sergio Rico, que la tuvo que enviar a la banda. Me parece lamentable, ¿no? Que un aficionado a esto, sinceramente lo digo, porque esto no es fútbol. Pero bueno, jugando aquí, Franco Russo, balón a la derecha, la quiere poner más feo.
Franco Russo passes right. This has to be our opportunity. Too short. Rayo Vallecano in possession now after stealing the ball. Silla takes it. Rico comes out, but Bebe is in possession. And Rico was very brave there. Bebe ended up with barely any space to shoot at goal. 94th minute now, only 3 left of extra time.
Quiere sacar rápido aquí. Jaume Costa de nuevo con Costa de nuevo. La pone para Salva Sevilla. La tiene que poner.
Costa is in possession once again.
Buscando para Hope que la controla. La deja para
Hope is in possession. Leaves it for Battaglia. Goes back to Take Kubo. Come on, Take.
Apura. Línea de fondo. Se queda sin espacio. Tiene que buscar algún compañero.
No space left for him. He needs a teammate there to save him and help him.
Buscando a Martin Valgen. El balón para Salva Sevilla.
Looking for Martin Valgen. Salva Sevilla in possession. Muri and loses the ball. And the ball goes to Dimitrievski. And Dimitrievski is saying that now he's pulled his calf muscles, of course.
Carlos, el Mallorca ya a la desesperada por todas.
Así es, y encima estamos teniendo incidencia. Vamos a ver si algún rebote, alguna no marca de algún rival podemos tener. Esa última, si hubiese sido un control un poco mejor, hubiese sido una ocasión clara. Una lástima que Muri esté cansado y al final...
It's a real shame that we can sense Muri's tiredness and his the fact that he's worn out, because in another occasion he may have reached there, and there's a lot of tension between both benches at the moment.
Así es, tensión, pero como decía el Mr. Carlos, tampoco interesa ahora alargar más y más trifulcas, porque al final lo único que hacemos es dejar que el cronómetro siga corriendo y al final el árbitro no va a acabar añadiendo 15 minutos y al 97 lo va a cortar. Entonces hay que pararlo ya. Lo que pasaba era que el banquillo del Rayo reclamaba esa acción a Maffeo, que intentase sacar teniendo un jugador del Rayo en el terreno de
So of
juego.
course,
Y Maffeo, pues, que
what was happening was that Rayo's bench was criticizing Pablo Maffeo's intention of taking his throw-in, despite a Rayo Vallecano player being on the grass. But of course, we need to quieten that down very quickly, because the referee is not going to add on any extra minutes despite all this stopping and starting. If we don't score, it's going to finish in under a minute. They're on the counter-attack. They're trying to take it slow, of course. The Rayo. And there's a shot at goal there from Rayo Vallecano, but it hits the post. Luckily, did not go in, and there's a foul against Dani Rodríguez, and it should be a yellow card. Sergio Rico is going to take this kick. This is the last minute of the match, probably the last play of the match. And we never know if that could be the equalizing goal, the kick. It's going to be a throw-in for Mallorca. We're in the 97th minute now. Jaume Costa is going to take the throw-in. Salva in possession.
Se le escapó esta oportunidad al Real Mallorca. Vamos a ver.
Mallorca missed an opportunity there because the ball goes back to Dmitrievski.
Y nos da tiempo de una más, pero evidentemente que el Rayo
It's going to be one more play now. We are still in time. But the semi-final of the King's Cup is slipping out of sight.
Se la enseña ahora el colegiado y el árbitro le ha dicho que va a alargar. Ha hecho un gesto para decir, lo voy a alargar.
The referee is making a gesture to indicate that we are still in play and that he is going to prolong the match until the 99th minute.
Yo creo que sobre ataque Kubo no dejó seguir el colegiado. El balón que ahora no tiene un dueño claro, por supuesto. Sacará de banda Pablo Maffeo.
Pablo Maffeo is going to take this throw in.
Llegar ese centro al área. Tiene que llegar la última.
This last throw-in needs to get to the goal-scoring area for Mallorca.
Cabeza de Balliu, se la queda Patecis, que se quiere ir a la derecha, que quiere ir a que muera el partido. Será saque de banda para el Mallorca.
Another throw-in for Mallorca here. Obviously squeezing as much as they can out of the last seconds of the match.
98 y 45.
98 minutes, 45 seconds now. Martin Valgent is going to take this throw in. And out it goes, and that is the final whistle of the match. So that is the end of Mallorca's participation. King's Cup.
Una auténtica pena. Pero bueno, así es el fútbol, así que el Mallorca.
However, we know that that is football at the end of the day. There's nothing we can do about it. They went as far as they could.
Los jugadores evidentemente hablando con el colegiado, pero bueno, pues ahora que poquito, ¿no? Que vamos a arreglar porque esto ya se ha terminado. El Rayo que va a celebrar
a lot of the players going up to speak to the referee, but of course there's not much to fix now because it is full time. The match has ended, and unfortunately it is a defeat for the Mallorca team. So Esteban, yes, that was the last match in the King's Cup for Mallorca this year. Well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. It was we were at the gates of getting that equaliser there, but it just didn't go our way, unfortunately. I guess it's a kind of feeling of that we've been defeated because of a penalty, but that's about it, you know, it's very frustrating.
Hay el penalti, te condiciona mucho para la segunda parte, ellos salen muy bien la segunda parte y Rico nos mantiene en el partido con un par de paradas. Y después el equipo,
yes, unfortunately they also came on very strong to the second half. Rico kept us in the match with some very strong saves.
Al Rayo a la contra de poder tener esa posibilidad del 2-0. Una lástima los minutos finales porque no se ha jugado a nada. Pero bueno, al final hay que felicitar.
Unfortunate last couple of minutes for the team as there were some opportunities that were not taken advantage of.
Y dar ese paso adelante del sábado y ganar en casa.
Mucha celebración, Dani, imagino, ¿no? En el césped de Vallecas y el Mallorca, pues lo que decíamos, ¿no? Han ido corriendo a por el árbitro.
Sí, bueno, evidentemente, pues
so of course, as we was just mentioning there, the Mallorca players, as soon as the final whistle was blown, ran straight up to the referee to talk to him. Yes, well, of course, it's a very frustrating moment for the Mallorca players. Frustrating situation. However, of course, our massive congratulations to the Rayo Vallecano team, who are experiencing a historical season for them. Their luck is definitely on their side at the moment. We obviously wanted to keep the dream alive and get through to the next round, but we've got to concentrate on the league match on Saturday and be proud of how far we've come. So everything is to play for on Saturday's match against Cádiz as we fight to remain in First Division.
no va a haber partidos entre semana, no va a haber...
So that means that is the end of the extra traveling trips that we've had in the last couple of months, the end of the midweek matches that we've had with the King's Cup, and now our full focus is on the league and trying to stay in the top category of Spanish football.
Desde aquí, cuando tengáis también algún protagonista, pues me lo decís. Y enseguida también pues pondremos punto y final también aquí desde la cabina de narración, el equipo que recordemos, ¿no?
So we will be leaving it in your hands, Esteban, very soon from the commentating box, as we will be flying back to Palma very, very early tomorrow morning.
Hay partido y ya habrá tiempo, ¿no? La semana que viene que no volvemos a jugar hasta el 14 de febrero, próximo lunes de la otra semana ante el Athletic Club de Bilbao. Así que tendremos tiempo. Bueno, pues vamos, creo que Esteban, ¿no? Con Luis Sebane, que tiene protagonista. Adelante, pues.
So we're going to go to Luis, who is talking to one of our players.
Estamos con protagonista, va a ser difícil que nos escuche con el griterío que hay aquí.
Yes, it's going to be difficult to hear, but we've got Martin Valgent with us, today's captain. So it wasn't meant to be, it appears.
No ha tenido más acciones, ¿no? De peligro.
No, creo que no. Bueno, por una única jugada, creo que casi de todo el partido, un contraataque, un penalti.
Yes, it's a shame that just from one occasion that they had, that has been the decider in the end.
Muy disputado, muy trabajado y bueno, nos vamos de este año de Copa con la cabeza muy levantada.
But I think we can leave the tournament with our heads held high. We can be really proud of how far we've come and bring that kind of energy into the league matches. So extremely important match now on Saturday. All this can help for Saturday's match.
Con las sensaciones que te han animado no muy buenas, pero el trabajo ha sido...
Yeah, of course, it's not the best feelings to take away today, but we're on the right path, and we're hoping for some more positive results now.
Que han llegado en ese mercado de invierno y se los ha visto bastante bien, se ve que pueden aportar cosas al equipo de aquí a final de temporada, ¿no, Martín?
Sí, seguramente. Creo que los tres han hecho un muy buen partido y los vamos a necesitar.
I think the three new guys, the new signings, have had a really good match, and they definitely brought something to the team today.
Siempre expresivo, Martin Valgent, se le veía en el rostro al eslovaco, ¿no? Esa cara de tristeza.
So a very expressive Martin Valgent there. You could, it was palpable, the sadness on his face and disappointment. So it really is a shame to have that kind of feeling after a match like this. To have lost just because of a penalty.
Así es, perdonad. La verdad es que la cara del chico lo dice todo. Al final una oportunidad.
Yes, I think at the end of the day, Valgent's face says it all.
Un partido extra a tu afición para acceder a una final y seguramente es una oportunidad perdida, pero hay que mirarlo con.
Unfortunately, today's match can be seen as a missed opportunity, but I guess we have to consider it as an opportunity.
No hay que mirar atrás ya.
Madre mía, cómo está Vallecas, Dani,
Yes, the atmosphere in Vallecas looks quite electric right now.
Muy cerquita donde estaba haciendo la entrevista Luis Sebane con Martin Valgent, están delante los bucaneros que están haciendo sus,
yes, right next to where Martin Valgent was being interviewed by Luis. The Buccaneers were stood there, and they are criticizing the people in charge of the match in the stadium today, and obviously they're being listened to.
Los jugadores del Rayo Vallecano que no se marchan y aficionados también del Mallorca, ¿no? Que han estado aquí, los que tenían el teléfono móvil que ya lo han recuperado y se lo llevan también ahora de vuelta a casa. Bueno, pues como digo, ¿no? La fiesta del Rayo Vallecano, evidentemente de este club.
So as I say, a big atmosphere and a big party, of course, here for the Rayo Vallecano fans.
De la clasificación en Liga y en semifinales, ¿no? Como no puede ser de otra manera, darles la enhorabuena, como he dicho antes, y desearles suerte.
So as I said, all we can do is congratulate them and wish them the best of luck in their semi-final match.
El equipo va a llegar pues un poquito de madrugada a Palma, ahora pues ducha de los jugadores, rueda de prensa del míster, que escucharemos también en directo en esta recta final de nuestra retransmisión, y después por bueno, tocar hacia el aeropuerto de Barajas, vuelo hacia Palma.
So of course we'll be sticking around to hear from Luis García Plaza's press conference, and then a bus back, and not much else, just back to rest, and we will all be traveling back to Palma tomorrow morning.
Así es, el partido siguiente es
and we've just got to look onwards and upwards because there's a lot of league left to go.
Y de ahí empezar a generar cosas de cara al sábado. Sí que es cierto que sacamos muchas cosas positivas del partido. Yo creo que la interferencia en el juego de...
It is true that we can take away many positive things from this match, so it's not all bad. Sergio Rico was very good. González will keep growing in that position. Dani Rodriguez, coming back from COVID, did an excellent job when he came on in the second half. So we've got to make the most of those performances and those players and try and do the best match possible on Saturday. So it's going to be a good bite from me as well. I'd better go and sort everything out here in the commentating box and try to get out of the stadium, because I don't know how difficult it's going to be for me to try and get past all the fans here. So obviously I know that you guys are going to stick around to hear from Luis García Plaza's press conference that is coming up very shortly.
Real Mallorca, que volverá a comparecer, ¿no? También el viernes para analizar el partido de Liga. Se retiran ya los jugadores del Rayo Vallecano, así que también momento para
so the Rayo Vallecano players are slowly retreating off the pitch, so that's my cue to leave. So thank you very much for being here today. It's been a pleasure to be commentating with you.
Y ponemos punto final a nuestra etapa en la Copa del Rey este año.
And that is, unfortunately, our last dance in our King's Cup journey this year.
De fondo la celebración del Rayo Vallecano. Te quedas con esa espinita, haces un poco de memoria del partido. Es que era como aquel que dice, partido de 0-0, era partido de que pasan...
Yes, it is obviously frustrating to think back at the match that we've just witnessed. It was definitely looking like a balanced 0-0 match.
No sé si se puede decir no, pero parecía que era un partido claro de 0-0.
But it looked like it was definitely going towards a draw, especially at the end of the first half.
Y sí, ha sido una pena, la verdad es que es una pena que en estas eliminatorias a un partido entre equipos de primera división, pues esa incidencia de jugar como local es clave, porque quieras que no, la entrada del público en ese minuto 30 le ha dado alas al equipo cuando a lo mejor estaba el Mallorca. Y bueno, y al final pues el jugar como local pues ayuda, en este caso pues eso.
And in this case I have to say that I think playing at home has been a big advantage for the Rayo team, especially in those last couple of minutes. The audience helped non-stop from start to finish, and I'm sure they influenced lots of decisions as well.
Este partido se juega aquí en casa y otro gallo hubiese cantado, ¿no? Puede ser que
Yes, I think if we had played at home, it could have been another story, to be honest, in the match.
Te vas a casa eliminado de Copa del Rey después de una Copa bastante buena por parte del equipo de Luis García Plaza.
However, we leave today after a impressive King's Cup journey, and as our colleagues have been saying, with our heads held really high.
Y ahora solo te queda encarar el partido del sábado, que es al final un poquito por lo que estás aquí, ¿no? Luchando por mantener la categoría y con buenas noticias como son los partidos, el primer partido que han jugado las nuevas incorporaciones, que al final pues te hacen sacar cosas positivas, ¿no? De este partido.
Sí, yo he encontrado que el equipo ha tenido mecanismos diferentes otros días.
So yes, the good thing is that we can take many positive things and positive aspects out of the match.
Muy buena, con poca pérdida, mucha descarga, situaciones de tercer hombre muy claras que nos pueden dar mucho en el futuro y evolucionar.
I think we were better today at creating opportunities, which is something that we needed to see.
Utilizado a muchos jugadores durante ese periodo, jugadores del filial que han sido.
But you know, when we think about it, to have reached the King's Cup quarterfinals using lots of youth players, lots of different players, having lots of bad luck as well, I think it's something that we can be very, very proud of.
Hemos tenido, por ejemplo, recordábamos que el día del Eibar se remontó gracias al primer gol de Pep Gallá después de un chut de Javi Llabrés. Entonces, al final también marcaron goles los dos jugadores. Leo Román también.
Of course, in the first couple of legs of the King's Cup, we must point out as well that we had some great goals that allowed us to win matches from the youth players and native Mallorcans as well, which is a lovely thing to be witnessing.
Es lo que tiene, pero mira, creo que ya tenemos a Luis García Plaza en la rueda de prensa de Vallecas.
I think we're going to go straight to hear from Luis García Plaza in his press conference.
Com s'explica en un partit que el Mallorca se jugava tant com unes semifinals de Copa del Rei la poca capacitat ofensiva de l'equip en un partit que només valia la victòria, no?
So, what do you think about the team's weak offensive performance today? I'm going to take a breath before I can answer you. It was a very balanced match. There was one mistake.
A partir ya cuando estamos un poquito más abiertos, sí, pero hasta ahí tampoco han generado nada. Porque ellos también tenían un partido sobre la victoria y un partido para las semifinales muy competido, ¿vale? Y creo que es verdad. Igual que le digo, la semana pasada no estuvimos bien. Hoy hemos competido el partido en un terreno de juego que no estaba para los dos, para los dos no es nada. No
I think it was a really tough situation, tough match today.
Vamos a dejarlo y sabía que cualquier detalle que decía, y quiero que hemos prácticamente regalado el penalti y eso es lo que te hace después.
I think we gave them the penalty, of course. We had a couple of opportunities to score two, which didn't, nothing came of it. But I think that's about it. So I wanted to ask about the new players. We saw them today, of course. And also Danny, who is just back. Yes, I mean, he's been training at home because he was asymptomatic, luckily. And he knew that he could come on and run today. When we knew that as soon as he tested negative, he could be back with us, and we were really happy about that.
De cómo hacer la presión y ahí estaba un poquito más desubicado, pero nos va a dar, yo creo que nos va a dar. Es un jugador que yo creo que es competitivo y nos va a dar. Tiene que adaptarse a.
However, I think the three new players are going to be players that give us a lot to the team.
Una lástima porque teníamos mucha ilusión, teníamos muchas ganas de pasar. Yo creo que.
It's a real shame, the result today, because we were really excited about the potential of going through to the semi-final. Also, I must say, when you play at home, it's a completely different story.
Creo que no es lo mismo jugar, por ejemplo, con el Español en su casa que en nuestra casa, y no es lo mismo a un partido jugar en Vallecas que jugar.
For example, I really don't think it's the same to play against Español in their home pitch than in our home pitch, and it wouldn't have been the same match if today we would have played against Rayo Vallecano in our home stadium.
Jo li volia demanar, en tant en el desenvolupament del partit, si una vegada que ja ha acabat, si a vostè li sap més greu que s'hagi decidit per una errada que ha penalitzat d'aquesta manera, o si també...
So, is it frustrating for it to have finished after a mistake on our behalf? Or is it more frustrating to see that we lack that kind of definition at the top at the end of the match?
Prácticamente nada, yo creo que el terreno de juego influye a los dos. Yo creo que los dos somos un equipo que
I think the playing field influenced both teams today.
La pelota era complicado para los dos y por eso yo creo que no ha habido casi ocasiones en la primera parte porque los dos hemos presionado bien, hemos defendido bien.
I think both teams in the first half attacked well and defended well.
Cuando se ponen por delante, tú ya te abres.
Of course, you open up once the other team gets in the lead.
Y de la prórroga de los 7 cada creo que se han jugado 2. O sea, también es lo que le he dicho un poco al árbitro, está hablando con él tranquilamente, le digo, ¿por qué no tenéis el valor de dar 15 minutos? O 12.
But of course, when I was talking to the referee at the end, I said to him, why not give 15 minutes of extra time? with the amount of time that we had to lose because of the time wasting tactics, etc. Why not give 15 minutes? Because there was so much stopping and starting, there was so much time wasted that we could have easily had 15 minutes added. However, the mistake that we made was a silly mistake. It shouldn't have been made. And it was a clear penalty, unfortunately. We needed to give more in the second half. We did have 1 or 2 scoring opportunities.
Creo que para los dos equipos lo que es que la creación de ocasiones, si no tienes espacios, es complicado por el terreno de juego.
Of course, if you don't have the gaps to get through, it's really difficult to create those opportunities. Asking about the referee and that tension between both benches in the second half. So, what was happening there? Between the benches, there was nothing happening, actually. The only thing that we were saying to the referee is that we couldn't really understand the fact that we only had 7 minutes of extra time with all those stopping and starting and interruption moments. I'm not saying that this is anything against Rayo. I'm saying that if that is the case and that's how the match is going, that should then be reflected in the extra time given. I think it's a criteria that should be unified because of all the times that there is so much extra time added on the end of matches. Of course, the extremely important match of the week is Saturday. We wanted to reach as far as we could in the King's Cup, of course, and we're really proud of how far we've come. Of course, my congratulations to Rayo for having gone through. And I repeat, I think it's a massive advantage to play in your home stadium. I think we had that advantage when we played against Español. And yes, I think now playing at home on Saturday, it's the time for us to feel strong again, to get a victory, to have a morale boost.
Al líder de la segunda división, como remontamos el otro día al Español, pues nos hacía mucha ilusión pasar y están un poco tocados, pero bueno, es una competición diferente que yo creo que el sábado la tenemos que ir a tope y pido a la gente que tenemos que saber que es un partido muy importante para nosotros, un partido yo creo que tenemos que estar todos juntos, que se note como el día del Español ese ambiente y si lo sacamos adelante, pues yo creo que estaremos.
I think we need to create an atmosphere on Saturday reminiscent of the one that we managed to do in Español.
S'ha acabat ja aquesta competició de cara al creu on tu jugues tot a 90 minuts, però ara precisament que ha acabat i que vostè potser encara té...
So now that we're at the end of the King's Cup journey.
No sé si té la sensació que tot aquest bagatge, no només avui, xerrava de les eliminatòries a Eibar, l'eliminatòria de la pròrroga...
Do you think all this baggage now of all these rounds that you've gone through?
La permanència, si mirant una mica més enllà, a mig termini, en aquesta torneig de la regularitat, suma, resta, quina valoració fa?
Do you think that will have added to the team or taken away from the team? I think the King's Cup match before the Levante league match did damage us in the sense that we were extremely tired after it.
Está bien, llevaba un tiempo con molestias que no que no le terminaban y le utilizamos con cuentagotas, ya está bien, lleva ya dos semanitas entrenando, bueno, prácticamente desde el partido de Villarreal lleva entrenando bien y eso para nosotros es una gran noticia.
Luckily, now we've got Salva Sevilla back with us, who feels completely fit again. He hadn't been, that's for sure.
Hoy no creo que nos afectará para el sábado, yo pienso que no, el día de Eibar sí, que nos afectó, sí, porque estábamos muy justos de efectivos.
But the day of the match against Eibar, it really did affect us because we were struggling to reach. Valjean was injured as well that day. But today, I don't think that was the case. They all ended the match feeling good and healthy. So I don't think it will affect us for the match on Saturday, no. So thank you very much.
Bueno, pues estas son las valoraciones de Luis García Plaza, el entrenador del Mallorca.
So, Luis García Plaza's opinion and words there. So yes, a very balanced match. A couple of details that we could have taken advantage of better.
El equipo había competido muy bien en la primera mitad y le ha faltado a lo mejor ese poquito de punch, ¿no?
So maybe they just needed a little bit more oomph to get through those spaces by Rayo Vallecano and clinch the victory.
No difiere de lo que hemos ido comentando. Al final hemos estado hablando de esa pequeña ventaja de jugar como local y la ha comentado el míster. Hemos estado hablando de lo que se ha perdido en los últimos minutos y encima pues tenía el minutaje. Y bueno, y al final la acción clave del penalti, que es una situación puntual.
At the end of the day, yes, it was the key action from the penalty that completely changed the course of the match.
De sorpresa, porque el periodista pues seguramente quiere un partido con muchas ocasiones y tal, pero al final es un partido de Copa del Rey donde sabemos que la incidencia del gol es.
Of course, we saw how Luis García Plaza was frustrated by that first question there. We imagine that the journalist wanted a more high octave match with more opportunities to score from the team, but that's not always possible. It's not always the case. And I do understand Luis Garcia's reaction there, because that's a very complicated thing to ask of a team.
Los tres fichajes que han jugado, tanto Murici y también Rico y también Gio, los tres han hecho un buen papel, le ha gustado bien bastante al míster.
So the good thing is that Luis García Plaza is impressed with the performances by Muri and by Sergio Rico. He mentioned how Gio, he needs to see a bit more of him, but he will have for sure many opportunities to do that and to show his worth in the future, in the very near future. So yes, we've just witnessed that victory by Rayo Vallecano, definitely helped and egged on by the fact that they were playing at home and they had the support of the fans in their stadium.
Que tiene a toda la plantilla, que empieza a tener esas posibilidades en los cambios y tener ese plan B que también va a ser muy determinante. Esa opción de Antonio Raillo que también nos llega a la línea defensiva, que también nos puede multiplicar y es como un fichaje de invierno.
Also, we mustn't forget that very soon we've got Raillo back with us, who is going to offer a whole new level of depth to the team, which we'll be really grateful for.
Si Antonio Raillo pues es de la partida el sábado, sobre todo porque tenemos que recordar que Franco Russo está expulsado.
So yes, we will see whether we must remember that Franco Russo is going to be off because of his double yellow card. So we'll see if Raillo can come on in the weekend match and create some damage for the team.
Y también pues te seguiremos en los partidos de tu equipo, del División de Honor.
Así es, agradeceros.
And well, very good luck to you, Carlos, in your next matches with the youth team. We'll be following them very, very closely. So thank you very much to everybody who has been watching today, all the Mallorca fans who've tuned in to experience this match against Rayo Vallecano with us. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be. But we definitely need all the support we can get on Saturday from 2:15, which is when we will be covering the pre-match live coverage here on our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.